man? The Coach JB Show with my main man, Darnell Smith, a.k.a. Big Smitty.
I'm going to bring some light to the darkness, man. I'm going to light it up in this mug, man. So I'm ready.
It's going to be fire and ice. Even though you bring that heat as well, you might be that ice that cool me down a little bit. Played at Ball State. You've been at Fox Sports with great people around you. You've had Lil Wayne on your show.
I respect the hell out of you to see that you're doing what you're doing and still doing what you're doing for real, the way you do it, man. You said from day one you had the same enthusiasm. You keep the same enthusiasm, and it's fucking contagious.
We're about to give them this fire and ice. The Coach JB Show with Big Smitty. What up, man? The real Coach JB back at it. We're here on this Work Boot Wednesday. Strap up your hard hats and tie up your work boots. And for some of you out there, you need to drop your man balls. It's the real Coach JB with my main man, Big Smitty.
Ah!
Why you got the black shirt? I got the white shirt. That's funny. Kind of racist. Kind of racially profiling me.
We didn't even know we was gonna do this though. It's kind of happened naturally. You know what I'm saying? My subconscious mind said put the black on. Your subconscious mind said put the white on. I think the black is better.
It is. Yeah, it makes you look thinner. You know what I'm saying? I need to put the black shirt on. You should wear the white shirt.
Need black on. Yeah, the hot on your.
Like, the girls like your smile and shit. I think it's kind of feminine, but you gotta like smile. Guys have nice smiles. I think it's feminine, but hey, it is what it is. Listen,
if the ladies like it, then it's right. Now, what you talking about? See, that's what I'm saying. Some guys be out here want to be so hard and I'm the toughest guy. You men want to impress other men. That's a problem.
Hey, we had a moderator on TikTok. We block him up like Matumbo.
No.
We stepping it up, dog. We stepping it up.
I love it.
All right, man. We got lots to discuss on this Work Boot Wednesday. Special Wednesday. We got Steve Kim jumping on before he heads out to Arizona for a fight this weekend. Matt McChesney is going to join us. We got a lot to talk about. Me and Matt and I were talking all night last night about this Eric Bieniemy thing. Both of us are real good friends with Eric. I grew up with Eric. Matt was just knows Eric from Colorado. Matt's much younger than both of us, but I did a rant yesterday on Bieniemy. That's a whole nother discussion. Can't wait to dive into that. Hard knocks or soft knocks. Hard knocks, whatever it's called. We're going to dive into that. That dropped last night, Big Smitty. But first of all, let's get you the quote of the day. Brought to you by betonline.ag. Use the promo code BLEAV, BLEAV, and get you 50% off plus welcome bonus. Quote of the day, Smitty. Success is stumbling from failure to failure with no loss of enthusiasm. Success is stumbling from failure to failure without losing any enthusiasm. Hey, dog, I struggle all the time, and I always hit a wall. I fell here, fell there, but I'm going to keep that enthusiasm, dog.
I love it, man. That's called faith. And you got that tattoo on your leg, if I'm not mistaken, man.
Of course I do.
Come on now.
Right.
I love that.
Facts of life, Big Smitty. In 1945, 3 days after the atomic bombing of Hiroshima, Japan, a U.S. B-29, codenamed Boxcar, dropped a nuclear device over Nagasaki, killing an estimated 75,000 people. Crazy, huh? Crazy times back then, dog. That was 1945. We dropping bombs, dog. What do we have now?
I know, man. It's really scary when you think about it. Like we got people in different countries. Even our own can press one button and set this shit off. Ain't nothing we can do about it. You know what I mean? So, hey, all I can do is keep living my life, man. Smoke my stick, sip my yak, and just keep falling forward.
That's right. Shit. Contrary to belief, brought to you by betonline.ag and Ash for licking me. Go lay down.
Whoa.
Leadership is about making others better as a result of your presence and making sure that impact lasts in your absence, contrary to belief.
You
heard me.
You say it again.
Leadership is about making others better as a result of your presence and making sure the impact lasts in your absence.
Well, let me ask you this, JB. Based upon that definition, would you say I'm a leader of this show? Because I could argue that my presence has made you a little better. And I could argue that when you're not here for whatever reason, if the internet's going down or you got to go walk the dogs or you got to go take a shower, get some drink, I'm able to keep the energy up high. I communicate with the people in the chat. I don't know, JB. I'm just saying. You said the definition. I'm just giving you some facts.
You like bubble? I think you're more like bubble gum. I'll come up with that quote tomorrow for you. I think you're bubble gum. You stick it in there just to hold it in place for a minute. You know what I'm saying? Contrary to belief, excellence is not an accident. That's it. Excellence is an accident. I don't know if you knew that. That's contrary to belief. Contrary to belief, go the extra mile. It's never crowded.
I love that one. I heard that one before, but I love to hear that one, man.
I got a new Swiss twist today. I got to twist it up for all the good folks. You know, good old boy folks, my white folks, my rich folks, Big Smitty. He kicks it in Beverly Hills now. I had to give him a word of the day today. It won't be a ghetto word. It's going to be an urban word of the day.
I like that.
Asshole.
Hold on. Say it one more time.
Asshole.
Ask, A-S-K, hole, H-O-L-E.
Yes.
Is that one word or is that two words?
One word.
Ask hole. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about this one. Talk to me.
A person who always asks for your advice. You know these people, Big Smitty. It's in Beverly Hills and shit. You deal with them every day. A person who asks for your advice, yet always does the opposite of what you told him to do is what we call an asshole.
Ooh, okay. I've never heard that one before, but I love it.
You know the motherfuckers, hey, Big Smitty, what should I do? Man, shit, you better get out of fucking Dodge, get the family and head on out to go to fuck it, I'm going to stand here and fight.
Why'd you ask me then? You know what I'm saying? I hate that, JB. Why ask for my opinion, ask for my help, and I take it?
I get smoked.
Yeah, make no dang sense, bro. I hate when that happens.
Hey, what I can pay my light bill or buy these Jordans. Man, you better go pay that light bill, boy. Fuck it. You only live once. I'm getting the Jordans. That's an asshole. Don't ask me then, motherfucker.
That'd be the worst.
One question. Has Hard Knocks become soft knocks?
We have to dive into that, JB.
Dive into this. I'm going to let you have it. I don't even know where to go with this. I'm going to be the one. I'm sure we're not going to agree, but I can't wait.
Yeah, man. Yeah, so let's dive straight into it. Yeah, so first of all, Chad, I was able to convince JB to watch Hard Knocks because, you know, JB, he don't really watch a lot of TV unless he just absolutely has to. And for this show, I said, you got to watch it. So he went ahead and tuned in. I tuned in as well, of course. And as expected, the first 20 minutes was nothing but Aaron Rodgers. You know, I mean, really throughout the entire episode, if you haven't seen it, was all Aaron Rodgers. But the first 10 to 20 minutes, just literally all praise to Aaron Rodgers. And I kind of got some, different feelings about the totality of the show. There's so much that you can dive into. Number one, I think the media has portrayed Aaron Rodgers to be the villain and be a bad guy. And either A, that's not the case, or B, he has made a complete 360 in terms of personality and who he was in Green Bay and who he is so far in New York. These young guys absolutely love Aaron. It's like you're seeing, players run up to him and talk about, hey, we grew up watching you play as a kid, and now I'm your teammate, and I'm going to go talk to my kids, when they grow up 15 years from now and tell them that I played with you. These guys are not only, loving him as a teammate and as a mentor and OG, but they're actually fans of him. You're seeing all the oohs and ahs on the sideline when he's, throwing these dimes to the end zone and making these unbelievable throws. Even the coaches, you're seeing the defensive coordinator in the film room basically showing his defense, hey, you guys guarded this perfectly, but look at this play right here. Because of plays like this, we will always be in games. That's our quarterback. Like the coaches is bragging about and the players, it's a lot of hoopla right now. And I get it. It's camp. You got a quarterback. Last year, you had a young guy who, was very mid, below mid, and that's me being nice. Now you got a Hall of Famer. So, of course, you're going to walk around a little bit more peppy in your step. But on the flip side, I also wonder what's going to happen when they lose 2 games in a row. You know what I'm saying? Like when Aaron Rodgers does have a couple bad games. Will this same energy stay around during the regular season when it actually matters the most? So that's my first just initial boom. My second piece here before I give it to JB is, seeing the relationship between Nathaniel Hatchett and Aaron Rodgers. I know he gets a lot of flack, in terms of who he is as a coach, how good he is. And so far, episode 1, it just looks like he's just him and Aaron are just friends. Like I didn't see a lot of like this superstar coach. He knows this, he knows that. It's just like Aaron Rodgers are just like they're like best buds, they're best friends. Whatever Aaron Rodgers wants, you can tell Nathaniel Hackett is going to get it done. And he's just happy to be around Aaron Rodgers. And I think that's why Aaron Rodgers is going to always have his back because shit, he know he can get whatever you want. If you got somebody in your circle who gonna do whatever you want them to do and do whatever you say, hell yeah, I'm gonna love them too. So like just seeing that firsthand, that relationship, the way Aaron talks to him and jokes with him, they're slap assing as they're walking around the field and stuff. It was just real interesting to see that relationship internally. And that's my initial take. I don't want to go too long, Jimmy. You jump in. I want to hear what you got to say, and I'm gonna come back.
Well, I think I said the whole reason he's a coach because he's Aaron Rodgers' boy. Sean Payton is absolutely right. I've been saying this about him for years and years. You can go back and watch my shows. I've been saying this about the cat for a long time. It is going to make him look bad. I'm just telling you. I said this last week. This is going to make Nathaniel Hackett look exactly like Sean Payton depicted him. A joke. I'm just telling you, if you really want to look at it like that, that is what it is. There's a reason people get jobs in this business. It's because who you know and who knows you, not what you know. And they're not gonna show him. But listen, though, I've been flip coin of this. I've been on that side of it too. I've been recorded for thousands of hours where you get to see only 16 hours, and then you don't see me coach at all. And then you make a decision and you start making assumptions. Oh, JB don't even coach. He just yells at everybody, blah, 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 blah. So, first of all, let me be on record, be clear here. Nathaniel Hackett knows ball. He's a coach. He's going to have a big influence on this offense. Let me put that out there.
Yeah.
He is coaching there. Number 2, though, is if you see how they discuss and talk and et cetera, the banter that goes back and forth. I said it last week. There's a reason he got hired right away. It's because Aaron Rodgers said to hire him. They are boys, and that is a boy type of relationship, a homie relationship. It isn't a coach, and it isn't a player relationship.
Right.
The only part that scares me and worries me is Aaron Rodgers has one Super Bowl to show for it, where Belichick's not doing that. That's not going to happen in New England. That's not going to happen with Bruce Arians in Tampa. Bruce Arians used to get after Tom Brady. You still have to have the not father-son relationship, but you got to have the coach-player separation.
Right.
And there might be a reason like Aaron Rodgers only has one. Aaron Rodgers is such a strong personality in a way that he manipulates you that he is going to have those type of relationships with all his coaches. And then human nature wise, it's hard to get after a cat like that, right? It's hard to motherfuck you. It's hard to cuss you out. It's hard to demand greatness from you. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it, dog, because this ain't here. We could be homies when you retire and chill afterwards. Right now, though, we want to go down as the best. You're already probably the most talented spinner of all time. How about we win some Super Bowls now with that talent?
Right.
I don't got time to be your homie. I said this before about the cat. I've said this before about this whole situation. It just gave me what y'all call cringe vibes last night watching it. There's a lot to dissect, dog. Listen, how do I say this without saying it? Is that what you say on Twitter? How do you say it without saying it? Saleh gives me cringe vibes. I get a lot of disgenuine fakeness out of it. Listen, I think he's a good dude. Obviously, that comes across. But man, oh man, oh man, oh man, dog. You can't address a team, in my opinion. I've never known anyone that's genuine and a good coach who addresses a football team of 100 men and has to continue to look down at a piece of paper and read off of it. I know the Discord was going crazy last night. Lucy, a couple other people liked his speeches and stuff. And I was like, man, I thought they were the worst speeches to an NFL roster I've ever heard. Only because they were so like scripted and the terms he uses, I just get a lot of what you guys say, cringe vibes, man. And listen,
the Eagle story at the beginning.
Oh, dude, that shit was so bad. I almost shut the TV off. I almost shut it off. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I almost shut it off, dog. Like, seriously. So, hey, listen, he made it. He's in the NFL. You can say what you want to say. He's the head coach of the New York Jets. And listen, he's made it there for a reason. I can dive into those reasons. I'm not going to get into those reasons. But listen, he's a good defense coach. Some guys are meant to be head coaches. Some guys aren't. His resume is still being written as a head coach. So we'll see. I'm not going to judge him and say he's a bad head coach or a good one yet. He's got to do something with this roster that could be, I said, the best. We put him in the top 5 or 10 rosters in football. It's time for results, and results-oriented business is what this profession is. There is no excuse making anymore. You got Aaron Rodgers, top 5 defense, 2 rookies of the year. You got Jeff Ulbrich over there on defense, great D coordinator. I've known him a long time. I don't know.
Let me ask you this, JB, and you mentioned it. Me and you both, I think we had the Jets as like a top 5 roster, but not only that, you had the Jets going to the Super Bowl this year, if I'm not mistaken.
I do.
Watching this, does this end? I know it's only one episode, but does this like give you even more confidence that your pick is correct, or less confidence that your pick is correct?
I'm rolling with it, man. But the truth of the matter is that friendship, homie relationship that Aaron has is even more evident now, and that's the one thing that scares me.
You know, see, let's dive into that, JB, because I saw that too, and I noticed the exact same thing. But I was trying to think to myself, okay, I only have the knowledge of playing, you know, obviously high school and then Division I football. I didn't play in the professionals. You know, I didn't play overseas. I didn't play NFL. You played professional some post-college, so you can dive into this a little bit more than me. But I understand a college coach yelling at you and getting after you. It's a little different. Like there's an obvious, you know, I'm 18, 19. Yeah, I'm a young adult, but I'm still really a kid. You know what I'm saying? I'm still a teenager, early 20s. I'm still figuring out life. So there's a direct disconnect naturally between coach, player, you know, leader, you know, follower, just learning from that coach. You think about the NFL, especially Aaron Rodgers, a guy who's what, like, is he 40 something himself, or is he late 30, whatever he is?
38.
Late 38 years old, right? He's not like, he's a grown ass man. Like, he's from an age standpoint, he's a peer with his coaches, and he's older than a lot of coaches. So when that's the case, don't you think it's a little different from a coach, you know, motherfucking Aaron Rodgers at 38 years old in the NFL compared to doing that to like a 19, 20-year-old who's, you know, in college, or just a young guy in the league? I do think you have to coach guys differently depending on who they are, their experience, etc. But there has to be a line. You know, you can't be too far on either side. You can't just be going at this guy 24/7, unless you have that type of relationship. I know Belichick did that with Brady, but the difference is he had Brady from the beginning. So that's all Brady ever knew. He drafted Brady. Brady's career started there as a youngin'. So even though as he got older, he was always like, that's all he ever knew. So it was like whatever, until Brady got tired of it and he ended up leaving, and he had, you know, went to Bruce Arians, who again, he's tough, but I wouldn't say it's the exact same method as Belichick. And we know the story there. But with Aaron Rodgers, man, you got to think, go to a new team for the first time in his career. These coaches are trying to be careful with how they approach him. They don't want to disrespect him or come off as disrespectful to a guy that, quite frankly, has had a lot more success than these coaches. And from an age standpoint alone, he's literally their peer or he's older. So, I mean, dive into that, JB. Could you coach in the NFL? Because I know how you are. And I just wonder, does that method directly work with grown-ass men? And we'll dive into Eric Bieniemy soon as well, because I think that's a direct correlation as well.
Yeah, so here's the thing. You can't walk on eggshells in the NFL. You can't walk on eggshells. You're never going to get greatness out of these great players. These are the greatest in the world. If you walk on eggshells and pick and choose who you talk to and who you get after and who you don't, you're never going to be successful. Belichick don't care who you are. Bruce Arians did not care who you were. And he didn't coach Tom Brady his whole career. He motherfucked Tom Brady every day. I know Byron Leftwich well. Bruce used to get after Tom Brady, and Tom Brady still called him coach, by the way. This is the discipline part of it. Listen, the NFL is different, and the off-the-field relationships are totally different. Right. I've been around Dick Vermeil where he still demanded you to call him coach. I think he earned the right, just as the doctor has earned the right. You're going to call a doctor until he probably dies, correct?
Yep.
He earned the right to be called doctor. I believe coaches have earned the right to be called coach.
I still call my high school coach, like Coach Clark, my D-line coach.
I see too much first name basis shit going on just because we think they're grown. That is where the discipline comes in at, man. Like, there is a respect factor that goes into this. Like, I don't think the players look at it with the perspective of, hey, Rodgers, get over here. Who likes to be called by their last name? It's almost it's almost the same disrespect as you calling me, hey, JB, let's go, man. Get the plays in. Motherfucker, please. I wish I would. I wish you would. The thing is, I'm going to call you Aaron. You're going to call me coach. Off the field and shit is different, but you have to have that discipline. And that is the one thing where you hear Aaron Rodgers all the time about ayahuasca and all these different things, and he's also mental. Well, then if you're doing all this shit, this is where I lose a little bit with Aaron. You're doing all this extra shit. You don't have the self-discipline to call a coach, but you can sit in a black box for fucking 3 days? Something don't sit right with me. Call the motherfucker coach, homie. He's earned the right. And it might, just that little thing right there will trickle down to a young Sauce Gardner, a young Jermaine Johnson, those type of guys, and they're all going to say coach. You know what? Walking around that place and there's 80 grown men in there and they're calling you by your first name. They're calling Robert Saleh Robert. Like, that's a problem, dog. You think Bill Belichick's being called Bill walking around that motherfucker?
Hell no.
I'm just saying, let's keep it real. People don't want to talk about it. Oh, you're the old man on the cloud yelling. No, it's a real thing. And it's starting to show you maybe why Aaron has one ring. And listen, he's the greatest. I think he's one of the best of all time. But dog, let's be honest. I think you gotta have these little things, little nuances, little disciplines that should be included in there, and that should be something addressed by the coach from the gate. Call me coach. Call my coach's coach. Off the field, chilling. You and Hackett or boys doing ayahuasca at the house. Call him whatever the fuck you want.
Right.
But nobody sees that. Have the discipline on the field. That's
all. I love that. Nah, that's real, man. It kind of takes me back to like a story. So like when I was at Ball State, like my veteran, the guy who started over me, 3 technique, shout out to my big homie, Nate Ali. After he graduated, he went directly into coaching. And initially his first gig was as a GA for Ball State. And he was a defensive line GA because obviously that's what he played. And that's my homie. Like he's 2 years older than me. We didn't turned up together. But just purely out of respect, for him, and knowing how serious he's taking coaching, because I know what type of person he is and man he is, and he's now the defensive line coach for the Indianapolis Colts. So you see how quick he's elevated. So I know out of my respect for him, I called him coach, and he wanted that. But I remember initially there were some of our teammates who would, again, because we played with him, was acting weird. And even when he would ask people to call him coaches out of respect, they would still call him Nate and call him Nate. And he would get frustrated because it's like, listen, I'm taking this serious. This is my career. I'm no longer a player. This is what I'm doing. Like, just show my respect when we're on the field. And like you said, JB, if you're down the street at a restaurant, yeah, I'm Nate. You call me regular name. Like, don't worry about that. But on the field, I need you to respect me, because if you don't, these other coaches around aren't going to respect me either. So I do understand what you're saying, JB, and I agree with you. To this day, I still call my high school coaches by coach. You know what I'm saying? Because I think the little things do matter. And it might seem petty. And at the time when I was a player, JB, I used to be like, why does this matter? Why do I got to pick up this tape that's on the field? Why do I got to do all it? Like, what does that have to do anything with the football play on the field? But everything matters. I'm telling you, it seems crazy at the time, but all the little details that a football coach will have a 10-minute speech about that have nothing to do with the actual football play. Now that I'm an adult, I'm a grown man, I can see how everything matters, because it's a system of discipline. My coach would always say, you can't turn the switch on and off. You know what I'm saying? Like, either this is who you are or this is who you aren't. Pick a side. So with everything we do,
this is a common theme in football. Like, this used to be a saying I've heard Dick Vermeil say when I was had my cup of tea there. I heard my coach in NFL Europe, my boy James Fuller, the head coach who now coaches Malik Henry in Arena League, who was my Arena League coach, played in the NFL a long time. How you do anything is how you do everything. That is just a common theme in coaching. That's how we say. That's what we used to say. That's why I don't like when Mahomes does it behind the back and everybody thinks, oh, my God. Well, Dan Marino's been doing that shit for 30 years. Right. But people don't know that because you guys weren't around and you didn't have TikTok. So you didn't see Dan Marino throwing behind his back
40 yards.
Down the field. Like, you don't see all that, right? You only know what you see today. And it's really quite embarrassing, and ignorant is life-threatening. Ignorance is life-threatening when you don't do research and you think these people are the first to do it and so on and so forth. But you're not going to do that in a game. And if you try it, you know damn well Andy Reid's going to rip your face off. He won't be Holmes, but he's going to be hot. And everyone else now is trying to do it. And then you start this trend, and you know that just took away from, I don't know, maybe just 5 regular accurate drops with a hit and a ball on time that you need to get better at. Because perfection is 10,000 hours, 10,000 times, 10,000 reps. That's perfection. So it's a fact. One behind the back pass, although it's BS, it's clowning, we're cool, it's for social media. I get it. I'm not going to be the old man on the cloud just ripping them about it. I really didn't make a big deal. I don't really give a shit. But for these young cats that see that, they all think they can do that shit, and it's taken away from their ass. Get to the NFL first and be Mahomes first, and then do that shit. But now we're going to have that shit all over the place. And listen, each his own, dog. It is what it is, but how you do anything is how you do everything. That is really the shit in football, because it's a 3-second play. It's not like you get one shot at this. 1 3-second play could change the whole game or your season or your career or your legacy. Like Franco Harris had a 3-second clip that changed the whole organization in Pittsburgh, his life, his season, that game. Like, people don't really break that down. 3 seconds can change everything in this profession, in this game, in this sport. So people don't really look at it like that. I look at it like that because you don't get that play back. You don't get today back. You don't get yesterday back. You don't get Super Bowl back. You don't get to practice back. And let me be clear. Perfect practice makes perfect.
There you go. Yeah.
Not practice makes perfect.
Yeah.
Because you can have bad practice. It don't make you perfect, dog. Just so you know.
Perfect. So it's not just 10,000 hours. It's really 10,000 perfect hours, which is probably 20,000 hours. You know what I mean? Because there's so many reps that you're trying to figure it out and learn. It's real.
I don't know. It's interesting, but I don't know, man. Listen, the problem is, though, college players, when you start to hear people call Nick Saban Nick, we have a problem.
Yeah, 100%.
Because they're professionals now, contrary to belief. They're professionals now being paid, and a lot of agents are sitting here telling these players, stay the 5th year in COVID. Stay your 5th COVID year, and you'll have a better chance you'll make more money here in college than you will on a rookie deal in the NFL. That's professional football last time I checked. So, these cats, especially lower tier colleges, I've been around and I've been hearing kids how they talk to their coaches. 18-year-old kid, dog, calling a head coach at a group of 5 program by his first name. Dog, I almost choked the shit out of both of them.
Yeah, I could never do that.
Allowed it, and the player who thought that was cool. But we're allowing it, dog. We're allowing it at all-time high. And you think it's not going to trickle upwards to the NFL?
Now, if you're doing it in college, you damn sure going to do it in the NFL. You know what I'm saying?
So to my point, dog, what's the difference in me transferring 4 times in college? You don't think I'm going to demand a trade in the NFL?
I hear you.
I'm just saying. It's the same. It's the same thing. It's trained, right? We only do what we're trained to do, taught to do, or what we learn to do. Like, racism is a learned and taught trait. Period. You learn to be racist. You didn't wake up and I grew up in Compton, only white kid, dog. Every brother and sister on that block as little kids came over there and took me in. We used to go to the liquor store, the candy store, the ice cream truck, play hoop in Ludus Park. Nobody looked at each other about no skin. We didn't care about no skin until the grown-up come over there. Why you with that white boy? Or not my parents didn't care, but just say for a regular white folk that didn't like that. Why you with that brother? Why you with that black kid? I mean,
right.
That's when people start to be like, oh shit, racism's learned and taught, dog. It ain't no damn. I didn't wake up, come out the womb.
Right, as a baby.
He's black, he's white. Come on, man. People kill me with that shit. It's all learned. It's all taught. So, I don't know. It's crazy.
Nah, I love it, man. Times are definitely changing, and I think it's a perfect transition to another story. Eric Bieniemy, the offensive coordinator over there at Washington. News broke out yesterday that I guess some of his players had went to head coach Ron Rivera and basically complaining about the way in which Eric Bieniemy has been coaching them. I guess I've heard stories of how he talks to the players, and he could be a little rough around the edges, I'll say, in terms of like the language that he uses and the words. And some of these, again, going back to what we were talking about with Aaron Rodgers, and
is it rough around the edges though, Smitty? I'm just I'm being honest. Is it rough around the edges, or is it just a coach? Like, that's what I want to ask. See, that narrative right there is what starts, not you per se, but this narrative that gets out there by all the people on mainstream media, exactly what you just said, that starts a snowball effect of shit that starts to give people a reputation.
Listen, I don't know Eric B at all. Obviously, I didn't play on him, so I can't confirm nor deny. I can only go off people that I know who have played under him, and there's mixed feelings about him based upon people that I've spoken to, if I'm just being real. So again, it's all perspective too, JB. I just call it space. It's all you, JB. You might coach me and motherfuck me, and to me, it's nothing, and I'm cool with it. Another player might hear the same thing, and it's a problem because of the way you're talking to them. So it's all perspective and perception and what you're used to. You know what I'm saying? In my opinion,
I text Eric. Obviously, I've grown up with them. Him, Darian Hagan, all grew up real tight knitted group. All LA, Watts, Compton, cats. And Eric went to high school out of private school, moved out of town a little bit, 30 minutes away. And look, I'll never share what he says and put his business out there because he's very reserved. He doesn't do social media. He wouldn't even do an interview if they didn't demand him an NFL in contract demands you to talk to the media. If he wouldn't even do that. He's just a ball coach. Like, that's all he wants to do. Like, that's what I used to be. Before Netflix, that's all I did. That's all I cared about. That's all I wanted to do. Take care of the players, teach them some life skills, get them from point A to point B. Get a player where he could not get himself. That's what the definition of coaching is. And stay the fuck out the limelight. We don't want to be in that shit. I didn't want that shit. Netflix brought that upon me. I didn't do that. They can massage that any way they want. Well, that's what they do in the media. That's what they've done with Eric. Eric's just a ball coach. Like, that's what he is. He's been the same person since I've known him. And if you ask anyone that's known me for my entire life, they'll tell you, JB's the same person. He didn't change. Like you saw someone else change on the previous show on Netflix before me. They you know, we've had certain Isaiah on this show who played for that coach, and he said from year 1 to year 2 he changed like crazy. Well, ask anybody. I'm the same person from Jump Street, growing up in Looters Park and Compton, to who I am right now. I'm never changing. Eric's never changing. He's not going to change. He smiles more now because he's on camera, but he's not changing who he is. And that's what you have. I want to know when people start to disrespect the fact of that, Matt, right there. Just respect that. Like, why isn't that respected anymore? I don't know. I don't know. But I know this, dog. Like, I think he has a snowball effect of negative connotation. Like here, you know, there's people that work where you work. I saw your interview yesterday about the Mega Millions thing. I thought that shit was funny. Like, there's people that have came out and bashed Eric and talked certain things about how he is, and then I can come counter and say, well, I kind of know more truths about it, and it's like, well, you were older. He benched you. You did certain things. I know he did that to a few people, and I think people got a little butthurt, and they came out after. I've heard several people come out and talk about it after the fact. And look, man, Adrian Peterson will tell you he challenged me like crazy. I hated Eric Bieniemy on the field. I hated him, but I love him to this day. He's made me a better businessman. He's made me a better father. Like, there's certain things that you can say he's done, and I know Adrian's got his own personal issues off the field too. But I can tell you countless stories like that about him. People hated him on the field. I'm sure people hated me on the field, dog. But you know what? This is a result-oriented profession. It's not a friendly. We're not playing intramurals, dog. We're not playing for clicks and likes and retweets. We're playing for a lot of money, for a lot of fans, and a lot of people eyeballs are on us every single day. There's a lot of pressure on this thing. We don't have time to be homies. I just don't get it. I have never been more embarrassed as a former football player, Big Smitty, and watching a current NFL grown man who gets paid generational wealth-changing money to go and talk to the head coach about how a coach is talking to him or them. I've never been that embarrassed about a professional football player in my entire life until I've seen this. And I gotta be honest. Matt's going to join us. Ron Rivera really disappointed me. I had a lot of respect for him. I still do. He beat cancer, and he's done all these great things. He's been a long time great assistant coach in the NFL. That information needed to stay in the locker room that's just my humble opinion. It needed to stay in the locker room. There's no way Belichick comes out and says, yeah, we got players coming forward to me and talking about they don't like Eric Bieniemy. He's a little hard on him. No way that ever gets out. Mike Tomlin, no way, never gets out. Arians, Andy Reid, doesn't get out. I don't get the ploy. I do get the ploy, but I don't respect the ploy. And the ploy is I'm covering my ass. CYA, I'm covering my ass because I'm on the hot seat. And that is what I don't get. It used to be about us, Big Smitty, not about me. That was my staff motto. It ain't about me. It's about us. That's not the fact in the NFL. It's about me, me, me. And Ron Rivera showed that yesterday. And I was so hot yesterday, dog. You could tell it in my rant. I had to step back away because you just screwed this cat even more. You put him in a deeper, deeper ditch yesterday because it doesn't matter. Perception is reality, dog. You are not going to ever get a job. You already had a reputation. These owners already saw you in a certain light, regardless if they know you or not. Netflix depicted you that way, JB. You're never getting a job again, someone once told me. All right, fuck it. It is what it is. Eric Bieniemy's the same. You've already been determined. Your career is determined. You are just holding on to the last few straws in the NFL, Eric Bieniemy. And I'm going to be honest. I told Eric this myself. You know, if you was a white boy, you'd be fired. Let that sink in. If Eric Bieniemy was me, he'd have been fired. And you know what I'm saying, Big Smitty. It sucks that we have to go there and say this shit, but this is the realest. I'm just being real because I know the truth, and he'll tell you the truth. If he was just an average old white dude running around there yelling at people, he'd have been fired. They're holding on to him because he is one of the brothers that have been turned down by a bunch of white owners in this league, and they can't take that black eye in the media right now. And I'm telling you right now, if he's not going to get a head job because Ron Rivera just buried him even further by saying, this is why you don't have a job, guys. Like saying it without saying it, like y'all say. This is what he said yesterday when he came out on the media and was like, well, I got players questioning him. And what's the first thing you see on Twitter? Well, we all know why Eric don't have a head job. Like, it's bullshit, homie. Like, you threw this man under the bus without throwing him under the bus.
When people already got a preconceived notion about who you are, they're, again, I said this before, they're searching for just any little fuel to ignite the fire that they already believe in. It's like if I already think this person is an asshole or whatever, as soon as they do something that I can slip into that whole belief. See, I told you. That's why he's this. That's why he's that. So I agree with you 1,000%. As a coach, you don't do that. As a team, you don't do that. You keep things in-house. You know, if I'm fighting with my brother or my sister or whoever, that's between us in our circle. Especially during camp. It's not like stuff doesn't need to get leaked right now. It's in camp. You should be able to keep everything enclosed and in between y'all. So I agree with you on that, JB. Also,
people in the chat are talking about it's not about race. I didn't say it's about race. I said that. Straight out. If Eric Bieniemy was white, he would have been fired. So you can say what you want to say, and I'm taking that to the grave. I know it's a fact, and that man knows it's a fact. So shut the hell up if you know what you're talking about. This ain't about race. I'm not coming out and saying it's a race thing. I'm telling you straight out the situation and the current landscape that we are in.
Optics,
is what it is. It's optics, and that is what the bottom line is. And there's probably a reason why he gets as much heat as he gets too, being a black man yelling and screaming at black players. Like, that's a whole nother dynamic and issue that no one else will discuss either. Like, it's a very fine line, man, especially with professionals. Like, you could be the white dude crazy yelling at the black player, and they'll say, oh, man, JB's just a father figure. And then you get the black man that does it, and then, oh, he's an asshole. He hates the players. It's like, hold on, dog. Wait, what's going on? And then you can bring in the whole father at the household dynamic. All that shit could be brought into it. I've had these conversations for fucking 20 years, man. And it's like, it actually gets exhausting because none of those players and none of those coaches, not one time, Big Smitty, did race cross their mind. Not one time did the color of the skin of the guy yelling at me ever cross our mind in the conversation, whether it was in the coach's office, whether it was in the locker room, whether it was on the field. Y'all brought it up outside on Twitter. We never thought about that shit. We didn't give a shit who was yelling at us. White, black, brown, yellow. Oh, man, that Mexican coach, when have you ever heard that, Big Smitty? Ever coach in a coaching environment? Never. Not one time. But people in the media, people on social media, they're the ones that bring it up. They're the first. What do you hear the first person out your mouth? Well, if he was white, he wouldn't have got fired. You know what I mean? Like, nobody in the organization thinks that way. No, not one of those players went over there and said, hey, owner, fire this dude, man. He a black coach and he yelling at Aaron Rodgers. Like, not once. But see, you guys take it and run. It's like, I use it like this, and I know I'm ranting on right now.
Are you good?
The Washington Commanders changed their name. The Cleveland Indians changed their name. Edmonton Eskimos changed their name. Why? Not one Indian complained, Big Smitty. Not one Native American complained. They actually loved that their heritage was being used on an American iconic helmet. It was these liberal ass white women and men who bitched and moaned. Black Lives Matter. It was liberal white folks that bitched and moaned, not brothers and sisters. Like, people don't break that shit down, man. It's not even the person that you're not even affecting those people. They actually like it. Edmonton went crazy when they changed their name from the Eskimos to the goddamn Elks. They're the Elks. My buddy's the head coach. He's been on this show. He still rocks Eskimo shit around, and if they find him as the head coach, they find him wearing Eskimo shit at practice. He don't want to wear elk shit. Like, and the Indians, the real Indians, the natives are like, screw these elks. We're not elks. like that's a real thing. But see, they don't look at it like that, dog. It's a deeper conversation that I don't think a lot of people want to have, and it's crazy. Not one time did the Indians come forward and said, man, we're change the name, get rid of the Redskins. They love it. So did the Cleveland Indians. So did all these other teams. It's crazy, man. I don't get it. It's just it's perception, like you said, and that's reality nowadays. And it's sad as hell, man. It's sad as hell. I'm embarrassed though for those NFL players that went to a grown man and cried like they got hit by Debo. It's crazy.
That's the main thing too for me. Like, even regardless of how you feel about Eric B or whoever as a coach, if you got a problem with the man, go talk to the man. You know what I'm saying? Go say, hey, coach, like let's talk after practice. And you just keep it real. We men, right? We grown men. You get paid, I get paid. Let's have a discussion. And maybe we can figure something out. But you going to like go tattletale on me, because that's how it feels like, and going to the head man to go, hey, your assistant coach or whatever is blah, blah, blah.
Let me ask you.
I could never see myself doing that.
How do you coach that kid today? That's the problem nobody wants to bring up, see? Because there is going to be the player is going to look at you a certain way, and B, I'm EB right now. I'm like, motherfucker, get me fired. Motherfucker gonna get me fired if I go off on his ass today and he's lazy. Because I'm telling you right now, I've had these situations. The kid will come back and he'll be lazy. He'll be enabled. He'll half-ass everything, and now he has a sense of I'm untouchable. Because you can't cuss me out no more, because now I put it out there, and now if you come after me, you're vindictive. So if Eric Bieniemy goes out and cusses out these players that went to the head coach, now he's vindictive. You see my point, though? You've put this cat in such a hole, dog. Like, now he can't be himself. Now he can't coach him, do him. Now you've hired a guy to come over be the OC when it's just all politics, dog. It's like, when is football just football? Take the fucking cell phones out of the locker room. Take them away. Get your ass in here, ready to work for 3 hours in your meeting times and your weight room times, and go live your life in your big house and your Ferrari. Like, it's not a bad life, homie. It really ain't. We're making it so difficult because of bullshit, soft politics. And the kids that complain probably are good kids, good guys. The problem is somebody allowed it somewhere down the line, and that is my point. That is why youth Pop Warner coaching, high school coaching needs to get better. We need to stop allowing shit and start demanding shit so it trickles uphill, so the NFL coaches can be NFL coaches. Dog, I don't know anything that we were all wanting to do. What, Big Smitty? Play in the NFL. That's why you start playing youth football, right? We want to be the next Lawrence Taylor, Troy Aikman, blah, blah, blah. That's what we used to look at. These kids now want to look at, and I want to be the next Twitch video game guy. And I'm super uber talented. I've had my ass kissed my whole life, so I'm gonna play. Like that's the attitude. I'll play, but
it's secondary. It's like secondary. It's not a priority.
What Troy Aikman is, but I'll play quarterback because I can throw it and run and blah blah blah. But it's like fuck, homie. I don't know. There's got to be some happy medium. Like, don't pay the guys full go. Put him on incentive, then let him earn it. Show us that he loves the game, because these cats don't love the game, and we're paying them as if they do. They don't love the game.
Let me ask you this real quick, JB. It's kind of being devil's advocate, and it doesn't even have to correlate directly to Eric B. Just in general, as a coach. So I get, obviously, I got coached tough. I got motherfucked. I got all that throughout my entire career. It was a piece of it. It was a part of it. As a coach, though, JB, is there a certain line that coaches shouldn't cross, or is it just free game, fair game to say whatever y'all want to the players? Like, if you want to say, stop being because it's sometimes coaches. I have been in positions where coaches have said some stuff. It's like, all right, like chill, motherfucker. Like, yell, cuss. That's all cool, but you ain't might be calling me no bitch and pussy. Like, there's certain things where it's like, I am a grown man. And I get coaching me hard and yelling, but at what point is it just like, all right, you're going a little too far? It has nothing to do with me being soft. It's just that I'm not gonna let any grown ass man anywhere in the streets call me a bitch, a pussy, or whatever, whatever. But since you're my coach, you just get a free pass to call me whatever you want to call me, and I'm supposed to just sit there and say yes, sir, and I'm not supposed to feel any type of way about it. So like, it is from a coach's perspective. Do you feel like you guys have a line, or you can just say whatever you want and players just should deal with it, and that's the case?
I never called a kid a bitch like that. Maybe in private conversation I've said quit acting like a bitch, right? But I've never said on the field. Somebody asked me, like, I think when we were talking about the first name basis addressing thing, someone was like, "I'm pretty sure you called Frank Diaz Frank." You didn't hear me say Frank on the football field, probably, unless it was slipped. You saw me call them by their first name in the coach's office. That was in my coach's manual, since you know so fucking much. In my coach's manual, you'll address coaches as coach on the football field so that the players know their names are coach as well. So you don't get that. Because once one guy calls them, everyone's going to catch on and start calling them too. So in coaches meetings where it's just coaches, you call them whatever you want. I call them probably a lot worse than Frank, by the way. Right. But see, people don't understand the dynamic. So like on the field, call each other coach. You've earned the right, have that common courtesy. So the kids also see it too. So I don't want to see kids calling them. That's what happened. That's what's happening now from youth Pop Warner to high school to college. And that's why you saw Hard Knocks. Dog, it wasn't just Aaron Rodgers, by the way, if you didn't notice. Everybody called their coaches by first name last night on that show.
Yep.
And I'm like, holy shit, dog, this is going to spiral out of control. So I'm like, damn, at least have some. I would love to see New England practice right now or in a staff meeting. Like, I still know coaches who go back and intern for Bill Belichick, and they're like, dude, I've never heard him. I've never heard a coach or anybody be called anything other than coach in that throughout a 20-hour day.
Right.
Like, I don't know. But to answer your question, dog, like, here's the thing. If I don't call you bitch and pussy, I'm not going to disrespect call you out like that. I think that's the worst thing you could do. I've worked for coaches that have actually been that way. Right. Not only with their coaches, because calling a coach calling a coach out of his name is even worse, in my opinion. Because now you've just allowed that coach to lose all credibility on the football field with his players.
Right. Yeah.
So here's the thing. If you've signed up to play this game and you know what you're getting into and you're making money, I should be able to coach you as hard as humanly possible and motherfuck you and get your best out of you. And that doesn't mean I have to call you crazy shit, but I might motherfuck you. I might use the word motherfucker within the sentence. Right. That doesn't mean I'm calling it to, I'm just saying, let's go, motherfucker, whatever. Right. But if you take that personal, that is where we are right now. And in my opinion, I think that is a you problem. It's not personal. It's business. And if you feel it's personal, I think you should have that conversation. I think the coach should be open to having that conversation so you have a better. You've never seen one kid ever come out after me on social media or any otherwise and say, man, JB was personal with his verbal attacks on me. When have you ever seen it? You've never seen it. Because they knew, dog, it was business between those lines and those 3 hours on the field or 2 hours or whatever time in the weight room, whatever. If you think I was crazy on the football field, you should have seen my ass in the weight room because I was a fucking raving lunatic. Because that is where you build your foundation and your program, in that weight room. And that's why I ran the weight room as the head coach. So people, that wasn't filmed, though. They weren't getting up at 4 a.m. to film us in the weight room.
Right.
So I'm just saying, it is what it is, man. Matt McChesney's joining us.
Yes. What's
Matt,
going on, Big Matt?
You headed, I know you're headed back to Denver practice here shortly.
Yeah.
We've got a lot going on this morning, man. I had to get you on here. I appreciate it. Right now, we're talking about the referring to a coach exactly that way, as a coach. A lot of first name basis were used last night on Hard Knocks. I have an issue with it. You played in the NFL a lot longer than me. I get off the field shit. I get all that. I get it's professional. It's grown men and all that. But I have buddies that coach in New England. I've had guys that coach other places, and like they demand you to call them coach. I think you've earned the right to be called coach, just like a doctor's earned the right to be called doctor. And I get off the field, you could be homies. I don't care. But I think the discipline part of it has to sink in. And seeing Aaron use that term so loosely last night, I start to think maybe that's why he has one ring. Go ahead, Matt. I appreciate it. I want to get your take.
Yeah, after watching last night, it's real laissez-faire in New York. And look, I'm a Jet alum and fan, and I love that team, but I hope it works. I just hope it works. Like listening to Hackett talk reminds me so much of last year's disaster here in Denver, and listening to him talk at all the press conferences about like the communication part of the Hard Knocks one, where he's sitting up there talking about communication. And all I can think in the back of my head is, who was communicating with you when you kicked a 64-yard field goal, or when you couldn't figure out how to get a plan and everybody at Mile High is going 7, 6, 5, count down the play clock and shit. Like when the Jets come to Denver week 5, that's all every single play, the entire stadium is going to go 24, 23, and they better. Like if you're a Bronco fan at that game and you're not doing that to mock Hackett, then don't go. I think that the Jets have, judging by what I've seen and the guys that I work with that I talk to, they are loaded with talent. Now, that is the trickiest part about this, because we have all seen so many super teams that can't win shit, and they can't get out of their own way because there's too many egos and there's too much me. You know, I don't look. I like, the thing that really bothered me the most about the whole thing was I smoke. Okay, I live in Denver. It's legal here. I smoke. It's all I do. I don't drink. I haven't had a drink in close to 15 years. Like but I do smoke every day. And if I didn't, I would probably kill someone, or my arm would fall off, and it would be bad. It helps me with a lot of things. But when I saw Aaron Rodgers and Sauce on TV do the
I saw it too.
As the like, bro, celebration. Look, there are high school kids watching y'all. Dog, like, it's bigger than just you and your boy. By the way, Sauce is old enough to be your son. Like, you're 40 and dog.
I just said to Smitty, I don't understand why people don't grasp this concept.
I don't get it. Like,
you.
He's 40. Sauce is 21 years old. You're doing that. Like, so Aaron has like a generational problem. He wants to be in this generation, but he's in our generation.
You know what I bet dollars and dimes on? That particular clip right there leads off on Pat McAfee's show.
It probably does. Because
Pat smokes. They love weed. No knock on it. I'm just saying, now you're going to have the biggest show on YouTube also lead off with that clip.
Yeah. And look, I'm a smoker. I'm not sitting here criticizing it. I'm saying there's a time and place for everything. And the practice field on Hard Knocks and HBO, when there's tons of kids at practice and all these, and it's like the biggest debut in forever, and it's been hyped up. And every kid at practice last night that I work with, I can't wait to watch Hard Knocks tonight. Well, they just watched their favorite corner and the best quarterback in football, hopefully, make that and smoke some dope. And look, if you're a professional and you can smoke and get out of bed and go to work and it doesn't fuck with you and you're a functioning pothead, good for you. High five. That's the way you need to operate. But if you're one of these lazy fucking Cheech and Chong assholes out here who smoke and then act like, oh, I'm so high, bro, let's get some Funyuns, like, that is an act. No one actually smokes dope and acts like that.
But
Just
man, this is kind of why I'm the old man on the front porch yelling at the clouds about we're paying these guys though this exorbitant amount of money, generational wealth changing money, and they go do these things like this, and then they don't win either. And it's like, hold on, dog, where is my return on investment? Like as the owner or the GM or the coach, because the coaches are getting fired, Matt, regardless of what everyone out here talking about coaches taking other jobs and all this. They're also being fired at an all-time rate. The players, you don't get fired. You get to go to another school, bro. So, like, I have to defend the coach in this aspect. But the coaches, dog, like, Robert Saleh is going to get fired, Matt, as you and I both know, if this dude don't go really, really far this year and probably don't win it next year.
Look, so that's true. I mean, if you have this roster and this team and you can't figure this out, you are canned, period. Right. Especially with Aaron Rodgers giving up as much money as he did in his contract to go potentially sign other people. Like I saw a report yesterday that they've made phone calls on Zach Martin and they're going to try and go get Devontae Adams. And the Jets they are trying to win football games right now. And all I'm saying is when you have a right now win mentality, and I was part of that organization forever, everything needs to be scrutinized. You know, it's not a vacation. Like if you want to come in and win right now and you want to change culture, then I don't understand how you can be buddy with everybody and on a first name basis and everyone's equal. We're all equal, but we're damn sure not the same. And you know who told me that? Herm Edwards, when I was the player for the Jets when he was the head coach.
Dick Vermeil told me that too.
Yep, we're all equal, but we're damn sure not the same. So certain guys can get special treatment, and most guys won't. But when the superstars, when I was there, and Curtis Martin is our first ballot Hall of Fame player, and he is doing all the work, and he's the first one in line, and he's the one doing everything. That sets a tone. He's not out there hypothetically smoking dope with the rookies. You feel me? Like. Right. He's a fucking Curtis is a businessman. Like he comes to work in a suit and leaves with a chauffeur. Like this, he's not fucking around. Like that's what you aim to be. Aaron is falling into Sauce's age group instead of bringing Sauce to Aaron's
I agree 100%.
Now Aaron would rather sit around and smoke dope and take ayahuasca with Sauce and like be cool guy and shit, cool older guy. Look how cool he is. He's the older guy. You even heard Al Woods last night. Oh, and Aaron's cool as fuck. Well, do you want a cool leader or do you want a
leader? A leader.
Oh, yeah, I want a leader, especially a quarterback. So
let me be devil's advocate real quick for y'all, because like I do feel like there's multiple ways to lead, though. There's multiple ways to skin a cat. Like I'm sure we've all had leaders who were the guys like Curtis Martin, who just did everything by the book, professional, suit, took it, treated like business. But there's also guys who led by play. There's guys who were the cool guys or whatever. But I think, again, based upon their personality and what worked for them, they could lead that way. I think we sometimes we get stuck on you have to just be this tough, this Belichick, this like you got to be this one way to lead. And through my experiences, I don't feel like that's the only way to lead a team. Now, I do agree with you. No, I'm sorry, man. Jump in.
No, bro, go.
Okay. Now, I do agree with you on the whole celebration. Like they're probably just having fun or whatever. I get it. But understand that you're on Hard Knocks and understand the responsibility that you have as an athlete. Not just an athlete, like the stars of that team and all the kids who are looking up to you. I do feel like internally, you should just understand that and be like, okay, maybe we should say this for when we're not on cameras or just don't do it, period.
Look, I will say this, and I want to be clear. Yep. There's a massive difference between leading college kids that you're the same age as that you grew up with and grown fucking men in the NFL who are 20 years older than you. Like Sauce was a baby when Aaron was a rookie. So
I mean, Mikael Hardman said he was 7 watching Aaron in the league.
This is my point. So when the guy you're striving to be like and your quote unquote idol or whatever, because every kid would take Aaron Rodgers' career.
Right.
I don't care who you are, where you're from, what color you are. I don't give a shit about that. Every American in the world would be like, holy fuck, I'd love to be Aaron Rodgers. Even if he only has one ring, they'll take the bank account. So I look at it like I would much rather, for example, I work with guys who are twice as young as me. I'm 41 and I've got a bunch of 20-year-olds in here. I'm not trying to act like a 20-year-old around them.
Right.
I want them to take the next step maturity wise and start acting above their age so they can get something out of this, so they can retire at 30 or 32 or 34 and actually be retired and not have to go to work like my dumbass. So, it's the example you're setting. It's the standard you're setting. If the first ballot Hall of Fame 4-time MVP is coming in and acting like a 20-year-old to fit in, well, I would much rather him be the rigid, I don't really have a lot in common with this guy, and force the younger guys to get to his level in order to be his buddy, rather than him dropping down to their level just to be friends. Like, I would much rather like when I was with the Jets when they traded for Brett Favre, and Brett Favre did not walk into the meeting room and try and adapt to all the young guys. And maybe he should have, and it might have worked out better for him in New York. I don't know. But that's also...
You're Brett Favre.
You're Brett Favre. You don't need to adapt to anyone.
Like, Tom Brady wasn't trying to be your friend.
Yes.
I don't know. We did see a different Brady in Tampa than we seen in New England. Is it fair to say? Can we leave?
Oh, shit. No way.
I don't think so.
Brady was way more friendly, talking, joking, throwing trophies. It's like, I don't know.
After they won the fucking Super Bowl.
Yeah, that's what he's been. Every time they won, he did that.
New England, I didn't see this Brady. Again, I'm not in the locker room. I'm just saying, in the media, you didn't see Brady doing all talking and joking and hi and laughing. I didn't see that in New England. It was just fucking serious for 20 years. And then he got to Tampa Bay. It was different.
Well, the reason they won in Tampa Bay is because he took that mentality down there. I mean, I've been working with Ryan Jensen since he was a rookie coming out of CSC Pueblo. And Jensen was his center for 3 years or 2 or whatever. Right. And he said that they had Jameis, and he threw 35 touchdowns and 35 interceptions in one motherfucking year, and it was a joke and a disaster, and they have a great roster. But Jameis Winston is eating crab legs and eating W's on the sideline and acting like a complete fuckboy trying to be the leader. And they brought in Serious Tom, and Tom fucking came in and cracked the whip and got everybody moving in the right direction. And, for example, they were 7-5 the year they won the Super Bowl. And Tom Brady walked into Bruce Arians' office and said, I'm calling the plays. I'm running 9-on-7 and I'm running team period. And Bruce said, okay, Tom. That's why Bruce didn't want to come back, because Tom slapped his ass and everybody saw it in the team. And they went on a run and didn't lose another game until the next year, and they won the Super Bowl. So I completely disagree. I think that Tom went to Tampa Bay and totally turned the team into a mature group that had to be accountable, to the point where Antonio Brown is freaking the fuck out that there's rules still. So I think Tom Brady, even though he may have a smile on his face that he's in Florida, I think that he went down there and was ultra serious and didn't put up with no bullshit. And I guarantee you he wasn't smoking fucking dope with Tristan Wirfs when he was a rookie tackle. So
here's the thing I got to say, Mike, too. Like, everybody on that roster, if you've heard them speak, they wanted to, man, the GOAT's here. Like Mike Evans and all these motherfuckers, man, that's the GOAT. Like, the same with Aaron Rodgers. You don't need to go over there and be like, hey, what's up, dog? Like, you're Tom Brady. You're the guy they're trying to.
I'm Aaron Rodgers. No shit.
Yeah, like Aaron Rodgers, they're all calling you the Godfather or the God of the film. Like, dog, you should let them come to you. Not in a swing from my nuts type of mentality, but hey, dog, you want to be in the Hall of Fame one day? You were talking to Sauce Gardner on the field at the Hall of Fame game. And he's asking you about doing it and all this shit, and you're telling him, yeah, you'll be here one day. You're already there. You're that guy. Now start to create more leaders instead of more followers. That's what leaders do.
That's all I'm saying. Look,
there's a reason he's got 1 Super Bowl. The other guy has 7, dog.
I agree. And look, there's also a great turn into the Eric Bieniemy thing here. Like, this goes full circle. EB, who was my coach, who was one of my coaches in college and is a great friend and an unbelievable leader and man, has to Riverboat Ron throws him under the fucking bus and, comes out today and says he put his foot in his mouth. Well, bro, like fucking.
He came out and said that?
Yeah, he came out this morning and said it.
Unbelievable.
Like, think before you fucking speak, dog. That's your OC. You just cut his nuts off essentially on national TV. But look, EB's not doing anything wrong. He's intense coaching. Last night at 8th grade practice, I had a bunch of coaches be like, wow, why are you so intense? And I'm like, why don't you give a fuck? Like, I'm sorry you don't care. And you're just out here to do some shit and stay away from your fucking cunt wife. But I'm out here to help my kids get better. So that's not my fucking problem. You're miserable, you piece of shit. Get off of my ass. And that's the same thing with EB. I hate the fact that he has to constantly defend himself for being who he is and who he's always been.
That's why I love the
show. Kids are soft and the community's soft and the media's soft. The whole world has just become this safe haven for everybody's fucking feelings and emotions, and everything I feel is more important than the fucking goal. Nah, dog, not in this game. Your motherfucking emotions are not more important than the goal. Your feelings personally are not more important than the team. We will replace your ass quick. Goes for coaches too. And that's the worst part about this. Hey,
Matt, not to cut you off. I want you to keep going, but I'm using this full circle for both of us. Colorado, Deion comes in. It was a shit show. Worst college football team in America. They don't like Deion. Why? Because he's accountable, and now you're accountable. Now you put rules in place. Now you've hired coaches to also do the same thing, and one-tongue language. Independence, Kansas, when I took the job, Matt, we started practice on the football field at 5 a.m. in an area where houses were. You know the number one complaint? Oh, man, coach yells. They're loud. It's 5 a.m. You know what I told them in front of the media? I had to address them all. I said, when you guys were when it was quiet, you guys were fucking horrible. You lost. That's what's happening right here in Washington, Big Matt, right?
100%. And look, like bringing up Colorado, Nick Williams, the defensive end pass rush coach up there, who's a great coach, great young coach, just reaming the defensive line the other day, talking about effort, chasing the ball, and you got to do it. He can't do it for you. This generation seems to think that getting there is the goal. Bro, I need to tell you something.
Me and Smitty argue about all the time.
I need to tell you this. Everyone, please listen. Every kid listening, every parent listening. Getting there is not the goal. Getting to college football is not the goal. Staying there and leaving a legacy is. Getting to the NFL is not the goal. Getting your pension is. And then once you get your pension, what else can you do? Like the life expectancy here for your opportunity is super short. And that is if you're healthy. We're not even talking about getting hurt. If you're healthy, your life expectancy is short. If you get hurt, it just starts chopping away opportunities. And then what do you have to fall back on? You either fall back on the lazy bullshit way that you did things when you played, which is exactly the way you'll do things in life, because that's what you are, or you're the hardworking, dedicated son of a bitch that will get out of bed even when you don't feel good and go do your job. And that's the guy who you're going to be the rest of your life. So I truly believe this, but this game lays a foundation for who you are as a man. And it's not for everybody, and it's not supposed to be. And I'm so goddamn tired of the softest people in our country constantly chiming in on the most hardcore alpha game there is. If you don't like it, go fucking play another game. Go water polo or golf or some shit. Get the fuck out of our game. We don't want you. We're not too intense for real football players. We're too intense for laissez-faire pussy motherfuckers who don't actually want to play. And that's a fact.
Yeah, it is. I'm tired of it too, man.
And EB is getting persecuted for being himself and a great coach. And it's just because everybody's got an opportunity to, complain now and go on Twitter with your Twitter thumbs and fucking bitch. Oh, I got disrespected today. Like back in the day, men would have to approach each other and actually hash shit out. Now you just get on Twitter and talk shit. And it's fuck, man. It's so like.
I'm telling you right now, I was so pissed yesterday. I was so pissed about the EB thing, man. I texted him. Listen, I was so high. I did a little rant yesterday about it because I'm just like, dog. It blows my mind that we're sitting here even having this conversation. And Ron Rivera, a guy well respected in this league, buried this guy further in a hole where you and I know these good old boys ain't never, ever, ever hiring Eric Bieniemy, and it's even worse now.
Bro, EB will never be a head coach.
Ever.
He'll never be a college head coach. He'll never be a pro head coach.
And if this thing goes south, Matt, I even see the worst of worst things.
He could be a running back coach again. Yeah,
he'll be a college coach or a running back coach in an NFL or a college running back coach somewhere. He won't even be a coordinator.
Yeah, and they'll be like, "Oh, we can't bring him in. He's too intense." What? Ask Adrian Peterson who the fucking catalyst was to him being great.
I just started the show with that.
It was Eric Bieniemy. He straightened his ass out and turned him into a first ballot Hall of Fame bad motherfucker. He was already that guy, but mentally he wasn't when he got to the league. EB had to help him get there. So look, I'll end my time on EB with this, and it's really I really want to know what Schmidt has to say about this. Yeah. As a man of color, Schmidt, don't you find it that these players are now just throwing EB under the bus too? It's a bunch of black guys talking about a black coach that
we just had that conversation
while everybody's bitching about a lack of opportunity. You're also throwing one of the best, African-American candidates under the fucking bus. Or I should just say American. One of the best American candidates under the bus. African-American, I don't like that. So one of the best American candidates under the bus. And he, just because he's a black man, he needs to be supported by his brethren in the league, because every owner's a fucking stuck-up asshole white dude with a stick in his ass who is scared shitless of Eric Bieniemy. If Eric wasn't a coach and he was just on the street walking by, that motherfucking white dude that owns a team would run to his car like this was fucking Trading Places, Dan Aykroyd and Eddie Murphy. Oh my God, he grabbed my briefcase. Ah! And then he's like, man, I'm just handing you this shit. So I guarantee you. So they when EB's being thrown under the bus by Rivera and the players on the team, and then he looks up and it's all, Ron's a minority coach.
Right.
The guys this is the Redskin organization where they just changed the racist ass name, and now EB's the offensive coordinator and his own players aren't supporting him. He's too intense. What?
Yeah. Now I'm with you, and I said it before you hopped on. Like, if you have an issue with Eric B, you have an issue with your coach, go talk to him man to man. Why are you going to the head coach, to tattletale, on his assistant and saying he's being too intense? It just doesn't make sense. Like, we're grown ass men. We get paid here to do a job. And like I said, even in the event that you don't like the way he's talking to you, go talk to the source directly. There's nothing stopping you from talking to your coach directly. But now you go to the head guy, you're going to the head coach. Now you're jeopardizing his brand even more. And another thing I said as well, Matt, is a lot of you already have this idea of who Eric B is. So any little small thing that fits into that narrative is like, see, I told you. That's why he wasn't the OC. That's why he's not this. That's why he's not that. And it's already so tough for minorities, but black people to get these OC jobs, these head coaching jobs, these defensive coordinator jobs. So now he's like on thin ice. If this year doesn't go well, like you guys alluded to, I mean, unfortunately, it's probably gonna be a wrap. He's gonna go down to running back coach or college, and he may not ever get an opportunity again. So there's certain things, man, especially as being a black man, being a black player. I'm not saying you can't criticize your coach because he's black. I'm not saying that, but there's ways to do it. Talk to him directly. You don't have to make stuff public. This is camp. We are a team. We are a family. Keep things internal.
Rivera should have cut the guys that came to see him. Like, he should have said, why the fuck are you talking to me and not your position coach?
Because this is a leader, Matt, as the head coach.
I don't want you on my team. If you can't go and talk to your position coach man to man, and you're going to come bitch at me about a guy I just hired to help us get better, and you're already complaining, maybe you're the reason why we suck.
Matt, as a leader, though, I got to be honest. I cannot throw my guy under the bus and expect my coordinator now to go out here and coach those same fucks who just came to me bitching about this particular coach, who I now have to put on an island together with him and get the most out of that particular guy that just bitched about him, coaching him. Like, does that make sense to you? Like, I got to put that the head off the dragon right there. Hell no, you don't talking about. You're about to do what the fuck that coach told you to do, or get your ass out of here. That's what would have been my conversation to that kid. And now EB's walking on eggshells today, coaching them, because if I yell too hard, I might be on Twitter tomorrow as the fucking devil. And now I can't coach this kid, and then he's gonna come out lazy. And you know, Matt, you coach these kids every day. They're going to test you. Now they're gonna come out lazy. And they're going to come out fucking bitching and moaning because now I can't be yelled at. I'm untouchable. You know what I'm saying?
Yep, that's what it is. It's like the kid and the parent that walk into 6-0 and I tell them how hardcore this is and it's an investment and I'm going to be on your ass and it's very important that you are consistent. And after 2 weeks, the first time I raise my voice at them, they're like, oh, and they piss down their leg and they run back to mommy and they're like, oh my God, Matt yelled at me. And I'm like, were you stupid fucks not in the meeting with you when you met with me? Did I sit in here and give you flowers and tickle your balls and tell you to come in here and sign up? Nah, motherfucker. You came to me and I told you what was expected and the kind of people that make it in this place, and your soft ass tried to do it your way and apply your fucked up like characteristics and the way you think to the way I apply the business and the way we do things. And that's not the way it works. You don't get to come in here with your soft bullshit and say that we're going to change things to accommodate your feelings. Winning is more important. Guys who want to do things right, I'll ride with them till the fucking cows come home. Like I don't know which players went and bitched, obviously, because it was my favorite, Anonymous. That's the other one. Anonymous players. You don't even have the ball. You have the balls to call him out by name and have him get fucked with, but you don't have the balls to say,
I hate that shit, man.
I'm the one that said it, and now I should be on Twitter explaining why I'm such a pussy because I don't want the Commanders to be the number one offense in football with an offensive coordinator that just had Mahomes and all these freaks and has multiple Super Bowl titles and learned under Andy Reid. And I think he could do great things with the Commanders if they would just, I don't know, buy the fuck in and shut the fuck up and go do your job, maybe.
Hey, man, isn't it the same thing, though, that this is society, though? This is what it is. Like, people don't really want to get into this deep conversation that we're having.
Nobody wants to work.
Isn't it the same as the girl that comes out and claims that domestic violence and the R word and all that shit, and then come to find out the video shows otherwise and she lied, but you never heard who she was, never see her name, and never see who it was. But I got 3 black kids at the University of Minnesota who get kicked out. Careers are fucking over, and they didn't do a goddamn thing wrong.
And look, I got to go after this, but I agree with all of that. Also, this is the accusation part of life. Like, that's all social media is like presented. It's hot AI chicks that I don't know if they're real or not, so I'm not really that interested anymore. And then just a bunch of excuse makers and bullshit. And everyone does it. Everybody puts something on social media they regret every now and then. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm saying if you're just constantly one of these, like, oh my God, this makes me angry and I got to tell everybody, and this makes me angry and I got to tell everybody, and this makes me angry and I got to tell everybody, and you're not being paid to give your opinion. Like, it's our job to sit here and talk about this shit. It's my job to go to altitude and sit there and talk about this shit. If you're just a fan and all you do is just bitch and complain, like, dude, shut the fuck up and enjoy the entertainment.
Hey, Matt, before you leave, I want you to see this, because this is the telltale that people don't want to talk about.
Better too, huh?
Oh, yeah, we make him better, too.
You make him better?
Yeah, we make him better, too.
Who makes you the more
it's
better?
Even. It's 50-50.
Yeah.
It's 50. EB, man, I love EB because he comes to work every day, and he's holding everybody accountable, and he going hard.
Tell me about his voice. I hear his voice kind of...
He's not playing out there. He's not playing.
Sounds like a fucking coach to me. I don't know why it's such a big old fucking alarming situation.
And that's your star. So I mean, I'm assuming Chase didn't go to the head coach. We don't know, but I'm assuming he didn't go.
It's not Chase. He's a defensive end. He probably doesn't even talk to EB. He's just looking at what's going on. If I had to guess, it's probably Scary Terry.
My job is to make sure that we're doing it the right way.
Not in the old life.
I mean, it wasn't none of those guys. I think Chase was telling the team, like, this guy was good. Like, this is good for us.
Yeah, but no one's going to listen to Chase Young either because he's got 1 sack in 3 years.
Exactly. I have a feeling that it was some second, third string back, a receiver that comes in and plays, fourth wide out.
He got yelled at, and he's like, "I'm better."
Yeah,
and it wasn't I'd be shocked if it was an O lineman. I'd be shocked if it was a tight end, and I'd be shocked. Yeah, and I'm just saying it's going to be some prima donna skill player, of course, and who knows? It could be one of those. It could even be fucking the quarterback.
Well, look, I've been saying this all week, and then I really have to go. There's two different footballs. There's pencil neck football, where you guys need a ball, and then there's real football, where we don't. And I don't need a football to play football. I just need space and opportunity. And the game hasn't changed for the trench. It's still super physical, and it's a man's game. The game is only changed for the skill players. The skill players are more important than the big guys, is what they're telling everyone. So it's what it is, and you just have to get in where you fit in and try and squeeze every penny you can out of these fucking people before your body or they get rid of you. And that goes for coaches and players. Like this,
I've heard that McLaren actually loves EB, and I heard he's kind of like echoing EB's sentiment on the field.
If he buys into it, he'll have 100 fucking catches.
Yeah. So, hey,
the players and the coaches have got to rally around each other. They should be supporting Eric, not talking shit about him. They're all in the same boat together. It's like the players and the coaches need to rally together. They're against the owners, period. Everybody's getting screwed by the owners. It's not the players or the owners, the coaches, and then the players. It's everybody and the owners fucking everyone. So just saying.
Hey, I know you got to go, but before you go, I'm just fucking.
Have a good one, Matt.
Hey, Matt, before you leave, though, seriously.
You got to go, dog.
You got to go. For real.
20 seconds, Matt. This is why we have what we have. Look at this fuck.
Oh. It's actually not a bad idea. I don't know why.
Not a bad idea.
I don't know if I hate this one.
Dude, I don't want to watch this.
No. Stop.
That guy has 30 million followers, and everyone follows this guy, and that's why he's more popular than Eric Bieniemy cussing out a fucking kid.
Well, that's the world we live in right now. I'm a fat piece of shit, and I'm going to show everyone. And I bet you he feels sorry for himself while he's doing that, right?
Yeah.
What a shocker. Oh, and by the way, if you're 6'5", 325 pounds, you can't fat shame anybody. So anybody that just took offense to that, suck my fucking keg right here, bitch. How's that sound? 6'5", 325, can't fat shame. Shut the fuck up. Goodbye.
6-0 Academy. Go check it out.
I love it. We're going back to back right now, man. The one and only Steve Kim is in the building, JB. Can we bring him in?
Yeah, if Ethan gets the shit right.
I think Ethan is asleep right now. Our young guy. Damn.
Oh, there we are. Hey, what's up, fellas?
What's
going
on? You
on?
Turkey, ready to go? Probably packed up, driving. Are you driving?
No, well, my flight's tomorrow morning, so I'm going in from Burbank. So just after this today, go to the boxing gym, hit a heavy bag, and then
Jet Sweet X. I know what you're doing.
No, I'm not doing that. I'm just doing Southwest. I got a bunch of miles, so that's funding all my trips this year, the rest of the year.
Here's who flies out of Burbank. A-list celebrities, big-time people with a lot of money.
Yeah.
And Big Smitty and Steve Kim falls under that, I guess, nowadays. Man, it's crazy to me. I would never be. I'm not fortunate enough to fly to Burbank. Maybe Compton.
Hold on.
Burbank, nah.
Hold on. I'm taking West. Get out of here with that.
The only time I flew out of Burbank is with Whitlock, and when Fox paid for it, and we did Jet Sweet X. We got a little champagne we got on there. They didn't check your bag. I could have brought whatever I wanted to in my bag. It was my first experience. It was the closest thing to flying private in my entire life. That was the only time I ever did Burbank. It was on Fox's dime, was not on my dime. So that's what it is.
It's Southwest, guys. It's not a big deal. Jeez.
JB just likes driving. He don't like being in airplanes. Anytime someone catches a flight, he's like, "Oh, you're rich."
If this was Vegas, I would drive, but this is Phoenix/Glendale, Arizona, so that's out of the driving range, really, for me.
Yeah, I drive to Pat's all the time, Scottsdale. From my house, I get there in like right at 4 hours. So, to me,
Yeah, I don't like being in the car that long.
Phoenix is about 6 to 6.5. So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna. Plus, I got a bunch of miles I want to redeem, so I'm good.
Hey, you know what? That's crazy, man, because I used to hate that. You know, from your house to here, if there's no traffic, you can get here, hour 10 or whatever.
Yeah.
It's crazy how it adds that a couple hours to Phoenix from your house, where to me, to Phoenix is 4 hours. It's like crazy. Yeah, it's crazy. It's because of that traffic. It's because of that whole getting from LA to the Inland Empire. All right, I got to get your take, man. Soft knocks. I mean, hard knocks.
Oh, come on.
What did you take away from it? And we just had a big, deep dive discussion. I'm exhausted, Steve. I don't know if I can teach you any more about this coaching world tonight after watching that show. I don't know. I hope you're exactly agree with me, because I can't argue anymore. I'm exhausted.
Well, first of all, that theme song, I mean, it just sounds like football. I might make that my ringtone.
Hey, raise your hand when you what day it was when you knew that Liv or Leave or whatever his name was the voice.
Oh, I knew. He's kind of a famous character actor. Remember, he did 24/7, and Aaron Rodgers said he watches 24/7, which means he might be a boxing fan. That is a serious person. And the other thing is,
I don't even know what that is.
24/7. That's the preview show that HBO did for all their big fights on pay-per-view. It started with Mayweather-Pacquiao. And Mayweather De La Hoya in 2007. So the other thing is, Coach, you know the way these shows are shot. They're very selective in their editing. Come on, you went through the process.
I get it. I said that. I brought that up earlier. I get it. But there are a lot of things to take away from this. So let me just ask you, what do you take away from that? Just watching one episode, I obviously focused on Aaron Rodgers, of course, as we knew it would. And I don't think he cared one bit. He actually loved it. He embraced it.
He loves it. He is made for this show.
He is.
To me, the biggest takeaway is I think he wants to be a good teammate. Seems to be engaged. Seems to be really involved. And look, he might, in his own mind, say, I got to win a Super Bowl here. Or people are going to say, why did you only win one? And it seems to me like he still has his arm talent. The things that he can do with that football. He can absolutely spin it and drop it into a basket anytime he wants to. And he's going to be able to elevate that whole offense. Now, from your standpoint, the atmosphere is probably a little bit too loose, a little bit too friendly, right? Everyone enjoying themselves just a little bit too much.
It's glaring, though, that I've said on this show I've said it for a long time now. There's a reason why Hackett gets the job. It's because of Aaron Rodgers. That's why he got the head job in Denver. That's why McDaniels has had 2 head jobs. Tom Brady's the reason. Oh. This is what it is, right? The quarterback you coach gets you head jobs. It also gets you coordinating jobs. Like in this case, Hackett was brought back. But what's glaring is it's like the next topic, Eric Bieniemy. This cat, Hackett, is going to be the white Eric Bieniemy in about 2 weeks. You know why? He's going to be blackballed too, because he's going to be showed in a light that the stars talk to you however they want. They call you by your first name. They call you they talk to you like like they're coaches and equals. If you notice the scripting part where Aaron was like, man, you fucking did the script, blah, 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 blah. Like, are you a coach or a player? Like, I'm confused on what's going on there. And now I'm starting to see, well, maybe why Aaron has 1 Super Bowl ring. Because he doesn't have the discipline, Steve. You don't have the discipline as a player. You have the discipline to go in a black box for 3 damn days, but you don't have the discipline to call the dude a coach?
Look, Nathaniel Hackett's a lot like his father then. His father, Paul, for years got jobs because he was the quarterback coach for Joe Montana.
Yep.
Which is like being the guy that gives the water to Floyd Mayweather in between rounds. Really, that's kind of what it's like.
You don't think Hackett the son is in there because of who his dad was?
I mean, look, there's bloodlines, there's nepotism.
That's life, though, JB. That's life. Let's keep it real. We all got connections. We all got, somebody had to reach down at some point. You know what I mean? So, I mean,
but look, I love Hard Knocks. They've taken away one of the better facets of the show by not showing guys when, hey, bring your playbook. Coach wants to see you. I always thought that was incredibly riveting television.
Just hire me to do that. Let me cut everybody.
Hey, being devil's advocate, imagine though, like if the whole world, like just everyday people, when you got fired, it was just on TV.
Yeah. That's why people loved it. No, look, when that show began in the summer of 2001 with the Ravens coming off a Super Bowl, no one had ever really seen the process of what happens, the tension at a training camp, the cut down days where guys who are the fringe players or the veterans kind of holding on, not being able to breathe, not really knowing it. Do I need to rent an apartment or am I going to get cut here? And how they just pack up your bags. They have a big box and they say, your locker, clean it out. You're gone. We're going to give you a ride. You're out of here. How they escort you out of the business. It's a cold, hard business, man. It's not for the faint or the meek at all. It isn't. And that's what people like about it.
Here's the issue I have with the nepotism in the NFL, though, and in college football, so specifically college football. You hire a lot of usually people of color to basically be the team tamer. Let's say that. We'll say that. And you keep all the cats in line. You control the locker room. You're the homie, big brother sort of guy who recruited half the roster. You bring them in, and you're only basically a low-level analyst or grad assistant, but you're the guy all the players respect, love, and etc. You're grinding just to get a position coaching job in college football. And it's your turn. You've done it for 6 years, Big Smitty, at Ball State, and it's your turn to be the D-line coach or the DC. And Paul Hackett's son gets the job, and you're sitting there at home like, this motherfucker's been working at Walmart for 2 years, and now his daddy just hired him as the DC. This happens more than anything other profession in life. It happens right here because it's glaring. We see it. It's in the limelight. I don't like that fact. Because
no, Coach, can I tell you something?
The guys that are deserving of it that get absolutely screwed, and they're told their whole life, just grind, dog, be a grad assistant, help me with these kids, and then they get fucking passed right over by a guy bloodline.
Coach, when Mark Richt came to Miami in 2016, I'll never forget, he hired a pretty good staff, right? His quarterback coach was his son, John Richt, who, let's just put it this way, from what I was told,
I know
was not that responsible. He was terrible. I'll just leave it at that. And when Mark Richt retired 3 years later, every other coach on that staff, from Ron Dugans to Thomas Brown to Todd Hartley, they all went to P5 or NFL jobs. In other words, they were respected. John Richt had to go run his own quarterback school for high schoolers in Georgia. What did that tell you about what the industry thought of him?
Wait till Ferentz's kid. Wait till Ferentz gets fired at Iowa. Wait till his son shows up and who he really is. I mean, I'm telling you. How about Rick Neuheisel's son? You want to talk about a fucking slapdick? I'm just saying there are a lot of these situations out here.
But hold on, Coach. With Neuheisel, I know he played a bit at UCLA. Had that great moment against Texas. All right, at Cowboy Stadium. Didn't he actually go through the process of doing a GA and working his way up the ladder? And it's not like he's been hired by his father. His father's now a broadcaster, right?
No, he was hired by his father then.
Okay, but I mean, isn't he working his way up the coaching ladder?
Well, you don't work up when you're Neuheisel's son. You don't work up when you're Hackett's son. You don't work up. What it is you get placed in this position. It shows all the other, especially black coaches. Let's just be honest. I'm giving you guys real information here. It shows all the black coaches that are grinding and trying to do all this shit. Oh, see, Neuheisel's son's a GA. It's all bullshit. No, it's not. He goes from GA to the fucking OC.
That didn't happen with you. Where did that did not happen with Neuheisel?
No, I'm just saying that's what happens, though. That's what happened in Kirk Ferentz's instance. That's what's happened in Mangino's instance. Mangino's son got a gig at Iowa State like 2 years later. I'm like, wait up. What's going on here? It happens all the time. And he went from a GA to the actual QB coach. And then Chip Kelly knows Neuheisel. So guess what? That's a favor to a favor. Keep Neuheisel on. And you see this happening. Nepotism is not only blood connected, Steve. It is also fraternity connected.
Yeah.
In the fraternity, it's also nepotism.
Well, we've seen it with the Shanahans, but Kyle Shanahan's turned out to be a pretty good coach.
No, he's not. I think it's nepotism to his full. I think he's a bust.
My God, the guy's gone to 3 championships.
JB, stop. You gotta stop.
And he can't coach.
You gotta stop that narrative, JB.
Come
Let
on.
me give you perspective. Let me give you a perspective real quick on this nepotism thing. Going back to college football. The head coach, Kleinman at K-State. Nepotism is illegal at K-State. My old boss is a legend there, Tammy, basketball hooper, female hooper. Nepotism is illegal there, and apparently in the state of Kansas, they like to say. Kansas State in particular will not let Kleinman hire his son as a GA. So Kleinman gets on the phone to his buddy, and he calls Jimbo Fisher, and Jimbo hired his son on at A&M. Now, what other person in America could do that and get that guy that opportunity if it wasn't nepotism? And that's my point of it. Doesn't have to be blood related, but it's still nepotism. And that is what happens in this profession more than anyone ever sees, because you don't see those young guys getting thrown around like this. But back to Shanahan. Yeah, he's a bust.
You know what I'm saying?
Let me ask you guys something, though. Real talk, Smitty. I know you hate that narrative, and I'm kind of half fucking with you, but I'm half not. Let me ask you. So his daddy was a legend. His daddy actually earned the results. Let's go back to the sons in this business. So Charlie Weiss's son, good friend of mine, actually, been with Lane Kiffin for a long time. I mean, if you go look at his resume, I want you to look at the father-son connections and look at all the sons from the father and tell me who's actually done anything as the son. Can anyone show me? Because I've done a little research on this. I'll wait.
Shanahan, yeah.
Yeah.
Y'all say that from Steve on Twitter? I'll wait.
Shanahan. I mean, I think we both said Shanahan.
It hasn't won nothing.
You said hasn't.
No, I said what son has actually won and superseded expectations. Not one of them has. They got in there because they're the son of
Shanahan has had a hell of a coaching career, man. I know he didn't win a Super Bowl yet.
My point is this, Steve. Let's just say that the grinder, which I mentioned earlier,
How about Jim Mora?
Jim Mora, what's he done?
Look, he had some good years at UCLA. And UConn was actually better than expected. He's had a career.
He's done.
Jim Mora made an NFC championship game. I'm not saying he's a Lombardi here. Good grief.
But JB may seem like you got to either win the Natty or the Super Bowl. Anything short of that, you're a horrible coach. It's like, there's a lot of information, a lot of steps before that, JB. Like, Kyle Shanahan is a hell of a coach.
Your vet and say getting there is not the mission. Like,
I understand, but I'm saying as a coach, JB, like everybody's not gonna just win a Super Bowl all the time. That doesn't make you a shitty coach.
I just asked a question though. Like, here's the point you're missing though. I just gave an example and I wanted to get Steve in your opinion. I just made an example of all these guys you passed by that could be in those positions and possibly be winning in those positions because of the relationship they have with the players, the recruiting aspect, the greatness they have in the locker room. But we pass them by and we give it to a Shanahan son who hasn't done anything of significance. But how do we know that Big Smitty wouldn't have been that guy to get it done? He's the guy that's grinded and got that team to where they are, but they get passed over by nepotism. That is my only point. You know how many coaches I know that are better than these guys that are the sons of these guys? Oh, dude, I can give you 1,000.
Hey, JB, you're 100% right, but that's just life. Life ain't fair. That's just what it is. And networking is one of the biggest pieces. I would give people, when I give kids advice about college,
networking, bro. That's
family. I'm saying whatever connection, whether it's blood related, I'm saying whether it's blood related, whether it's being a part of the family, whatever. Like, that's just life. I ain't gonna lie. If I have kids and I get older and I'm in position to help my fucking son out, I'm gonna help his ass out.
Yeah,
and I can't worry about that. That's life.
It's not the point at all, though. It's not networking. This is your heirloom.
I hear you.
This is heirloom.
I have a question though, JB. If you're getting a GA job, you're basically the grunt. It's not like you're immediately coming into a coordinator.
You're getting my coffee, Steve, right?
Right. You're a grunt. You're an intern. I know players that have done it, and they said within a month, they're like, yeah, I'm not doing this. It's not for me.
GAs have the worst job. I've seen my GAs get disrespected.
Let's not make it sound like let's not make it sound like these guys are immediately elevated to coaching a room or then being a coordinator. The GA is the entry-level grunt position of coaching.
By the way, GAs aren't just falling off trees either. I just want to be clear here. You guys act like GA is the fucking easiest job in the world to get. You're not even getting in the pool of a GA on a D1 school unless you're somebody that knows somebody. A GA is a big deal, even though you're unpaid and all that, and you're a grunt. You know how many GAs would love to be GAs? It is not easy, Steve, to get in that position. And once you get in that position, your foot is in the That is my point to this whole thing. There's a lot of GAs that have actually earned the possibility to get in there, but then they get passed over by a blood-connected nepotism hire that wasn't even on the campus that you're grinding on currently. And that is why you see GAs get discouraged and be like, man, fuck this. I'm going back to JCPenney warehouse. It is the grind, but it's worth it at the end of the day because 90% of GAs either move on with the new coach, get retained by the old coach or the new coach, or move on with the old coach. And that's a great position to be in. Tommy Tuberville started off as a GA. I mean, there's a million guys.
Yes, he did. By the way, Tommy Tuberville, that was in 1988. He was a GA under Jimmy Johnson. The other GA that Jimmy hired, Ed Orgeron.
Yep.
Maybe the greatest coaching staff I've ever seen in 1988. Boy, that Jimmy was good. Boy, he's good. They don't make him like him anymore.
Yeah, I would. There's a staff that you may know, but a lot of people won't. But San Francisco State, Andy Reid had one of the best coaching staffs of all time. No one even knows about. Dirk Cutter, Pete Carroll. I mean, there's all kind of guys on this San Francisco State staff. I think it was the last year they had football. But anyway, I don't know. I'm just saying. I just see it a lot in the profession being in there. It's a tough thing to get in, and then you got to keep the job. It's hard, and then move up the ranks. And then when a guy just goes right in because we know whose son it is, it's tough, man. I hate to see it, but it is what it is.
I hear you on that, man. I want to switch gears a little bit here. I know we've been talking football all day. Anytime I got Steve on, I got to bring a little sprinkle of boxing into the show. Ethan, can you pull up this video of Prograis? He's here complaining about some changes with Devin Haney in the fight about location. Put a video up for me, Ethan.
Yeah. I retweeted it. I seen Steve showed it, and I retweeted. Steve goes, "What's going on here?"
Right. Is Ethan there? I don't know if Ethan's here right now. Can you put a video for us, E?
Man, they got some pussy in this fight game right now. So you know me and Haney supposed to fight, right? We agreed on date. We agreed on everything, and now they trying to move the date and stuff like that. The Haneys. I know y'all smart, but y'all some smart bitches at the same time. Y'all pulling some dirty shit, bro. Y'all trying to pull, not dirty, y'all trying to pull some slick shit, but we ain't going for that. We already agreed to the date. That's what it is. We agreed to the date already. Why y'all can't go on the...
All right, so Steve, I saw that Haney's response and was like, "You're business smart, but you want to fight on the same day as Fury, dumbass." So
yeah.
What's going on?
See, look, in boxing, you're going to have competing dates and shows. So I think what Haney is saying, well, wait a minute. If we're going to put our fight, and I believe it might be on pay-per-view, believe it or not, which I don't think is going to be good. You don't want two pay-per-view shows on the same date because now you are now splitting the audience or you're making consumers decide out of my $70 to $80, where is it going, this one or that? What's that old song? You can get with this or you can get with that, right? So generally, a lot of the promoters and networks, they try to look at the calendar, and it's very strategic of like, can't go here. They have a show here. There's a pay-per-view here. Don't want to go there. Or sometimes we can't get this venue. It's already being rented out for a concert. So a lot of things go into play, and Regis has responded, or someone else, one of my friends on Twitter said, wait a minute, there's a 10-hour difference. Let people decide. But again, if both of those cards are pay-per-view, I could see why Devin Haney would say, look, let's not affect our money and our ability to maximize our earnings. Now, if you're Regis and you struggle to make 140 pounds because he goes through a process, you kind of need to know when that date is because you have to almost begin your weight cut right now. The weight cut, in my view, does not really start just 24 hours before the fight. It actually starts the day you know your date of your fight if you want to do it the right way. So I see both sides of the issue, but here's the issue, Coach and Darnell. and I do this all the time on my Peanuts calendar and my Miami Hurricane calendar in my office. I always look about what am I going to be talking about, what's going to be on my mind here. There's always going to be competing shows. Always. There used to be just HBO and Showtime, and there used to be a time, 2 or 3 times a year, of HBO and Showtime both had a show on the same date. It was a big thing before DVR. Like, people had to make a decision, like, which show are we going to watch live? But here's the issue. College football every Saturday basically has competing games that are good. And they find a way to do it. So if you're looking for that perfect date when no one else in boxing is throwing a show, guess what, guys? That generally does not exist.
Yeah. No, that's a fact. That's the fact. And I actually saw another like comment that Haney had underneath the video. He was basically saying, hey, man, just train and let me and your boss, Eddie, finish ironing out the details on the contract, including the venue. If you were in tune, then you would know that the hold for the venue in Vegas wasn't locked in. So we're figuring it out. Stop trying to get out of this shit. That's what Haney said.
Yeah, that unfortunately, boxing is a business dressed up as a sport.
Mm-hmm.
It really is. And I think it's an interesting fight. Haney is moving up in weight. I don't know if he's going to stay at 140, but Regis really struggled in his last fight with Daniel Zorrilla. He looked like a guy that had ring rust. I hope it's not corrosion, because I think there is a difference. But it's a good fight. But I can't lie. If that fight's going to be in October, my focus will be on college football. I'm going to watch the fight because that's what I get paid off of. I cover boxing. I will watch the fight. But my focus for most of that day will be on college football. That's the reality. And that's another thing. And the promoters have told me this. They're like, Steve, we need to put this fight on before Labor Day weekend because we do not want to go up against football because most major fights, guess what, Darnell? They're on a Saturday.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And you're going to have two or three TVs on there, and two of them going to be college football. The other one might be the fight. So
Might be. Might be.
All right, Steve, I got to get to brass tacks. You were on Whitlock yesterday. I didn't get to see it yet. I know Whitlock. I thought Whitlock's take, he was kind of in a Bieniemy's defense this time, wasn't he not?
Yeah, well, look, me and him both had the same thing. Ron Rivera needed to stand up and tell those players, he's hurting your feelings? Get the FOH. Deal with it. Look, this is football. But the way Rivera reacted and the fact that he came out publicly is proof that maybe Rivera was pressured into bringing on Bieniemy. Maybe that really was not his guy because that was truly his guy. And a couple of the players came in. Riverboat Ron should have said, yes, I hear your complaints. I'm very concerned about how you feel while my job's on the line. I just want to tell you one thing. Eric Bieniemy is going to be out there. You don't have to be out there. And in fact, I'll get starving students or a U-Haul. And if you don't like the way he coaches, we could pack shit up and you can GTF OH. Or you can just practice and STF you, and we're going to be good. Now, you can have a choice here. So starting students or U-Haul, or play your ass off and don't take everything personally. That's where I think, to me, what Ron Rivera did to Bieniemy is much worse than what Sean Payton did to Nathaniel Hackett. That's just the way we look at it.
I agree. One was football related in the football world of so-called glass house that Hackett thinks he lives in. And then the other one is basically I'm trying to defend my job. I know I'm going to be fired. And now I just threw a guy who's already looked at as the
token hire. Let's be honest. Yeah. And you don't support him. This reminds me of my favorite Dick Vermeil story. It was the 77 Rose Bowl. It ended up being his last game at UCLA. UCLA had gone up to Columbus and just gotten hammered by Ohio State earlier in the year. And Ohio State was the number one team the whole year. But the Bruin team, I think it was like John Shira was the quarterback who ended up playing for him in Philly, and the great Wendell Tyler. So the UCLA gets better. And this is back when you could just do what you want as a coach. Vermeil up until the Rose Bowl was running 3-a-days. He was running like Junction Bowl. I mean, seriously, there was no spring break. There was not a Merry Christmas for those gutty little Bruins.
He did in Philadelphia, too, with the Eagles.
Right. So he's running another boot camp because he says, we can beat this team. So a week before the game, John Shira, who's the team captain, comes up to coach, and all the players said, John, you got to talk to him. You're the team captain. So Shira comes up to Vermeil. He goes, hey, coach, you're kind of working us hard, and we're not having fun with this Rose Bowl. And, and the guys are saying that maybe they don't want to do this like this way. And can we have more fun? And we may not show up to not me, coach, but certain guys may not show up to the next practice. And Dick Vermeil, who did not cry here, said, oh, really? Really? Yeah. Listen, I just want you to know, we are going to play in the Rose Bowl against a team playing for a national title, and we will be practicing just as we have for the next 10 days to the game. Now, this is the way I run my camp. This is the way we do our team. Now, whoever does not want to show up tomorrow and the subsequent days can just stay home. But I will promise you this, John, come January 1st, I will roam the campuses at UCLA. I will find 100 young men to represent our fine institution. All right, so make that very clear. Either you show up or just don't ever come back. And guess what? UCLA whipped Ohio State. I mean, whipped them. A minute and a half left to go in the game. It's a timeout. UCLA is running out the clock. Woodrow Hayes, just instinctively runs across the field.
Shook his hand.
And shook his hand. He goes, young man, that's the finest job of coaching I have ever seen. I just want to congratulate you. Like, he wasn't even angry. He said, man, you are So, bottom line is this. You know what you signed up for. Sack up. Okay? There are kids in African mines slaving away for your diamonds and your batteries for this who get paid 2 cents an hour. Suck it up. But anyway, just saying, you don't want to do it.
I agree. I wish it was the bagger at the grocery store during the COVID era. Shit.
I mean, let me ask you something. Do you think that those Bruins, all those guys that are on that team, look back and say, God, I'm glad we went through because we won. We did. I'll tell you a story. So my friend is doing a tell-all documentary on the 90s Cowboys. Darnell coach, they're getting into the White House, all the stuff, all the good stuff. It's going to be the Oscar De La Hoya documentary of NFL documentaries because my guy, he was like the concierge. He was the right-hand man. I'm going to get him on the show because trust me, he's a guy that knows where all the skeletons are buried because he had the shovel many times. So anyway, so he got a lot of great players to participate in this. And I talk to him regularly. And he says, Steve, you know what I found out? And I go, what's that? He goes, man, a lot of the guys did not like Jimmy. And I go, stop right there. Of course they didn't like Jimmy. Jimmy's a hard guy. He's an asshole. He's a great coach. But I got to tell you one thing. When they go to autograph shows and they get $5,000 more per hour and they get perks because they were on 3 Super Bowl teams, you don't think their lives were better? And he goes, Steve, let me tell you a story. He goes, because he'd been with the Cowboys since the early 80s. So he knew Michael Downs, Everson Walls, Randy White, all those guys. He said, Steve, I'll never forget when in 1988, we went 3-13. It was Tom Landry's last year. So me and five of the players that I was hanging out with, we went to a club. We get to the front of the line and the bouncer's there. And I go, hey, I got this guy, and this guy, all Cowboys. Where do we go? And the usher goes, points over there. And he goes, yeah, you see that big long line? Get to the end of it. Now, by 1993, they walk into a club. Trust me, they're being escorted into the best table with the best champagne waiting for them. Everything free. A lot of attention paid to them. Do you think it was worth it? And Paco said, you're absolutely right. Their life was better because of the sacrifices they made. It's really simple. To the winner go the spoils.
I hear it, man. Hey, 3 days. I will say this: 3 days is that's a little crazy, though.
Well, I mean, look,
as a former player, 3 days is a little wild.
Like Christmas vacation. Looks like during Christmas vacation.
I'm doing 2 days and then like film and then weights. But like 3 actual we putting pads on. That's a lot now,
But,
Steve.
I mean, think about John Shira coming back to the team after the meeting. Hey, fellas. Hey, guys.
Smitty never had to go through that. Like that was like we used to actually look forward to it. It's crazy.
Yeah, but could you imagine if Shira is the team captain? Say, hey guys, yeah, Yeah. So what happened, John? What'd they tell you? What did Coach? See you guys at 8:00 for practice, guys. I didn't hear of anyone quitting.
Yeah, no, he definitely ain't gonna quit. It is what it is. But I'm just saying, like JB. So real quick, you had 3-a-days.
My whole youth, high school, college.
Just for clarity, though, when you say 3-a-day, you're saying three times that I put
in the NFL.
Three times that you actually put pads on. Because like I'm not saying like weight room and then like 2 practices. You're saying 3 times. But that's a lot.
Three days were actually 3 practices. That wasn't including meetings and weight room.
Yeah. Ooh, shit.
Hey, Darnell, do you know that Dick Vermeil actually did come up with the term burnout? That's the funniest thing. Everyone associates him with burnout, right? Because he'd sleep at the office. He literally didn't see his wife for days at a time. So when he finally and everyone, even in Philadelphia, the players that loved him said at the end he was unbearable. We loved him, but get him out of here. So in his final press conference, he starts going, I love you guys, but right now I am burnt out. And that actually started the term burnout.
Hey, the problem is, I knew once, so 3-a-days died out, right? It started to go back to 2-a-days, double days, whatever you guys call them. And then,
cool.
And then when that was banned in California, which trickled it to the rest of the country, I knew we were done. I knew the wedge breaker was next on special teams kickoff, and I knew it was over. That's kind of where I put it. I tie it back into that. 3 days died, 2-a-days died, and I'm
Coach, they don't even they don't even want you doing stuff like the Oklahoma drill or the middle drill.
No.
Now that was the Jimmy Johnson thing. Jimmy Johnson, when he took over the Dolphins.
Now we got helmet condoms, man.
Yeah. Oh my God. That it's funny. That's like headgear in boxing. Headgear in boxing does not actually protect the head.
Does nothing.
It actually makes it worse because you develop this false sense of security.
Right.
I've been told, I had a guy that has one of the biggest headgear companies in the world. He's been on my show. He's a good friend of mine who lives out in the valley. He'll argue that it actually jars your brain more.
It does. It actually does. People do not realize that. I've seen amateur bouts with headgear, guys getting knocked out. And the other thing that a lot of trainers don't like is what they call the bitch bar. That's what they call it. It's not the official name, but they want open face headgear because the other thing is I've worn headgear. The problem with the headgear is it actually restricts your vision. So now you're only and you can't. And the funny thing is about the big heavy headgear that has the bitch bar, it's like a Lego block on your head. And the one thing I've noticed, you can't actually move your head. So now you're creating a really bad habit where you're just square the whole time. Your head never actually moves off the line. If you can control your sparring and you're with a good enough fighter, and this goes for football when you're doing like the walkthroughs. If you're with an experienced guy, you can actually spar and be very safe without headgear.
Steve, it's the same thing in quarterback. I tell quarterbacks all the time, the ones that these quarterbacks you recruit, I got to have the double drop, Mike Vick face mask. I'm like, yeah, but guess what? You fucking can't see out of it. Because the quarterback don't realize that the bar is cutting off this whole eye up here when his head. It's like crazy. Do you want to look pretty or you want to actually see the flat defender? Like it's just a bunch of different things.
Well, that's what I love about Tom Brady. This is how committed he was. When he'd go on vacation, he wouldn't just bring his football. He'd bring his pads and his helmet. He'd be literally on a resort. And I'm thinking to myself, this guy's actually doing drills with his pads and his helmet because you know why? You want to be able to simulate what you're going to do in a real game. See, that is why Tom Brady is a serious person.
This makes perfect, Steve. Perfect.
Yes. But Darnell, it was so funny. I read a book when Jimmy took over the 96 Dolphins called Shark Among Dolphins. I reread it a couple of months ago. And all the older veterans like Richmond Webb and Sims, they all knew like, oh, shit, here comes Jimmy in the middle drill.
Yeah.
God, and everyone dreaded it because Shula had gotten really soft. And they had a team full of like older veterans that just did not want to do that.
Yeah.
But Jimmy's like, all right, let's do the middle drill now. Y'all get in there now. He didn't give a shit. He really did.
They're like, damn, we knew this was coming. Man, that's hilarious. Nah, Oklahoma drills what made me as a football player. I was super soft when I first started playing football. I'm gonna be real with you. I was a late bloomer, and Oklahoma's would literally. I remember the day freshman year in high school. My D-line coach just kept making me go again. I did like 8 straight Oklahoma drills in a row, but I started getting my confidence going, and I started winning like 4 or 5 times in a row. And I remember that moment being a very pivotal moment in my early career that led to me to becoming what I ended up becoming. So, nah, man, I think, we're at a point now where we're definitely way too soft. But I do think there's balance. I think 3 a day is a little
that's a little gulag.
one a day.
When
soft.
you were at Ball State, did they have that rule where for the fall camp first 3 days were no pads? Did they have that rule in place?
Yeah. So I think first day it was I think first day was just like shells,
right?
Yeah, shells, minimal contact, and then day 3 is when you finally go, either full or just uppers. Or start, thud or go full. So,
Coach, that probably makes you sick, doesn't it?
I fucking throw up in the mouth.
But I did have 2 a days though. I was of the era of 2 a days. Like that didn't end until after I had left. So I did.
You want to hear? Here, I'll give you some truth that I will never tell anybody ever. Alan, you in here? TJ, you in here? You in the chat? Former players of mine. I would plan this out. Now I shouldn't tell this story, but I'm gonna tell you. So with my staff, I'm like, gut their asses. You better get the most out of them. But once we find one lacquer, I'm going to start over. But I need to get these certain things in. So I wanted to get inside run in. I wanted to get half line in. I was going to get some one-on-one stuff in. And then I was going to start practice all the way over and motherfuck them because I was going to say you're bullshit and you're lackluster. I would start all the way over back to warm up. I did it on purpose so I can get 2 days in.
That would piss me. Hey, that would piss me off.
That's the 2-for-1 right there. Now that is the 2-for-1.
Hey, I wanted to get those things on tape, and then I was going to do it again and get it on tape. And you know what? Shit, we got better effort. Even though it wasn't too bad in the beginning, I did it on purpose by design, but I got some good effort.
And hey, Coach, I have a question. If you were in the NFL, would you give guys who are like 10-year veterans? Like I know they have rules. Like they have certain coaches, like Shanahan would say, if you're a 10-year veteran, you get certain days off. Just hang out and watch. Do you agree with that? Like have you earned that? If you're like, let's say you're an 8-time Pro Bowler in your 12th year, you know the game. Would you give guys designated days off to rest their legs?
Nah, I couldn't do it.
Yeah, Hey, Tony Gonzalez, you're in your 15th year. I don't give a damn about your 13 Pro Bowls. Get your ass in there. You're
inside run, Tony. Inside run.
Yeah. Listen, that doesn't mean I'm going to gut him and have him, but I want him there for the fact that you lose credibility, man. You really do. You lose it as the rest of the team. They look at you in a different way. Like,
but Coach, you know what they said about Mike Shanahan? And I've heard this a lot and I've read it. Mike Shanahan was really good. They said he knew how to took care of veterans.
Yeah, and he's considered
that's part of his rules. Like if you were like a Terrell Davis on certain days or a Bill Romanowski, he'd say, "All right, you lay back, you're good." So he would just hey, Reggie White, I know you've made 12 All-Pros. Get your ass in there you're practicing.
Hey, look at this though. Here's the thing about it. So there's 2 coaches that stick out. Well, Parcells is known, but all these guys are known. But I've had 2 buddies that have coached for both of these men, and they've known, obviously, many coaches have coached for both of them as well, more than me. But I know these 2. Mike Shanahan and Marty Schottenheimer are regarded as the 2 biggest assholes to ever step on a football field as far as to their coaches, to their players, etc. What Marty and Mike both had in common, though, the veterans loved them and respected them for the fact how they treated those veterans, and they got through them. The young players hated them because they were assholes, but they were equal cusses, though. They would cuss everybody out, equal opportunity assholes, I like to call it. They're going to cuss you all out the same, just like Belichick, just like Bruce Arians. Those guys that cussed out the Bradys of the world also have demanded the respect of those Sauce Gardners in the room. I did not see that by Robert Saleh yesterday. I did not see that with Hackett. Of course, we know that already. Man, it was tough to watch that show last night. I only watched it for Smitty and I's response. But what stood out to you? Like, what is the most glaring, good or bad thing you saw on that show?
Aaron wants to be a good teammate. I think he is playing that elder statesman role very well. Seems to be trying to mentor Zach Wilson more than maybe Brett Favre did with him. And look, maybe he's playing for the cameras. My biggest concern about Aaron was how fully engaged would he be? Would he be all in? And the teammates, look, he's going to have to be the leader. because that's a relatively young team. He's a Hall of Famer. He has credibility. He seems to be a very popular guy in the locker room. Now, I don't know what happens if they're going to be 4-5 in the middle of October. Again, things can change. But Aaron seems to be having a lot of fun, and his heart seems to be into this.
You know what, though? Like, I've had players that played for Aaron, like receivers and stuff, and other guys that have been there, and I've had a couple coaches coach in Green Bay that I've known real well. He's always been that way, though. I think the narrative has always been
the media, because he had certain stances on social and political issues. People wanted to smear him. One of them being Colin Cowherd, who began the show, which I thought was ironic. But I also believe Aaron's a savvy guy. That's an very, very intelligent guy. I think he wants to reinvent his personality and the perception that, hey, Aaron's a good guy. May not talk to his family, may hate his brother. That's, again, not my business. But at least to my teammates, he wants to be known as a good teammate. I think that's important to him, and that's good.
The thing is, though, like, the glaring part has always been the same, and everyone that I know has known the same thing. He doesn't know how to separate because somebody – now, I know Tedford coached him hard. I know Jeff very, very well. By the way, Downey, California, Cerritos College alum, Warren High School. The thing about it is, like, I don't know if he coached his ass. He coached Aaron hard. Aaron got to the league, though. I believe that it was being behind Favre. I think he kind of got sidetracked. Like, he just got to see Favre how he was, because Favre was already in year 47. And the thing is, when you're that old and you're Brett Favre, you're probably talking to coaches by first name basis, but you've been doing it for 10 years. Aaron got that early on and never was corrected, never was checked. And now he's taken that, and now everyone else seeing him do that as well. I just don't know if that's the recipe to win a Super Bowl. You just don't see it in New England. You don't see it. I got buddies that interned there and a buddy that was a DB coach. We don't go around calling Bill. We don't go around in staff meetings calling him Bill. And we don't see the players calling coaches by first name basis unless it's off the field or at a personal charity event or something where it's not being affected. Those 3 hours should be business first. Like, that's just how you win Super Bowls. This is what we're there for. I just think it was a little bit too relaxed for me, and that's always been Aaron Rodgers, though. He didn't change.
Well, if Aaron can throw for 350 yards a game and 4 touchdowns,
that's all the bottom line's going to be.
You know what I mean?
The bottom line. And look, he's got Garrett Wilson, McCole Hardman's got Breece Hall.
Can Saleh and Hackett, though, massage all these moving parts? Because there's a lot of different personalities out there now. You got a lot of big money guys, too. You got Quentin that signed a $100 million deal. You got Sauce Gardner, rookie of the year. You got this other Garrett, if he's healthy, he's got a rookie of the year. You got a lot of egos now out there that are moving around in different pieces.
Yeah.
Does Saleh have in your opinion, does Saleh have that it factor? Because coordinators, you could be good coordinators, man, and not be good head coaches. We're seeing it in with the Chargers. We're seeing it in New Orleans. We're seeing it in Tampa Bay. We're seeing it in Vegas and Denver twice now with McDaniels. We've seen it with all these guys, Hackett. So, like, where do you stand on that deal? Like,
look at the Jets last year. They were good on Saleh's side of the ball. Defensively, they were tough, and they're going to be tough again. They'll be very good. And that Will McDonald they drafted, I like what I saw in that preseason game. He's got a twitch off that edge.
He like Jermaine Johnson. Him and Jermaine are going to.
Yeah, they're going to be able to rush the passer. Now they're going to be able to play from ahead. So I like the fact that his side of the ball, his specialty was really good. Let's be honest. You know who the coordinator really is for the Jets? Rodgers.
Yeah.
Aaron is the coordinator. He's basically, he could come up in the middle of games. All right, guys, all that we worked on, I'm Sinatra. We're doing it my way this week. I don't like what's going on.
That's what you see with him and Hackett, and that's why I look at it.
But I don't know if that's bad, though, Jay. I'm kind of with Steve. Like, unless we're assuming the defense is going to be somehow get way worse, which I don't see. I think they're going to be around the same, if not better. If Aaron Rodgers is just, like, average, there are, to me, that's a 10-win team. That's
an improvement over what they had last year.
Just being average. So you're expecting Aaron Rodgers, JB, to be MVP Aaron Rodgers. If that's the case, they're going to win 13 games.
This change of scenery may do wonders for Aaron. He seems really, really, really engaged. And look, he's a football savant. He has an IQ of 500 when it comes to this. I think offensively they have a lot of weapons, which is one of the reasons why he wanted to go there. Coach, I've been wanting to ask you, what do you think about my guy DTR? I thought he played well last week. I know it's just August.
My boy Taylor's in the chat here. He's the head coach for the Arena League team here in San Diego. He coaches Carlos Thompson, who I coached. And he said, I'm 4 years older than Carlos, and he calls me coach. I never once had to ask him to.
Yeah.
Not all players have that kind of respect. Here's the thing, though. That's to my point. You think I was going to let Carlos call me JB? Do you think that – no, my point is, though, his head coach in high school was the same way at Manville. Demanded him to be called coach. And he's been coaching Youth Pop Warner in Houston by a fucking nutty-gutty guy that I also know. Call him coach. This particular guy has been trained that way and has been coached up and not allowed to, where we're seeing all these other cats now that Carlos is going to call you Coach Taylor until you're dying.
That's the way I am.
Like that.
When I see my high school coaches around town in Montebello, once in a while I run into them. I still call them coach. Would never think about calling them by their first names.
I tell people all the time. I tell my staff every day. You demand yourself to be called coach like a doctor, earning a doctor degree. He's allowed to call doctor. Call him doctor. He's earned the right, just as the coach has earned the right. DTR, flash in the pants, great athlete. Nobody has film on him. You're going to see him move around, run around in a preseason game. Everybody's going to think he's the best thing ever. People are pissed off. They signed AR5 over him. We should have done DTR. I love the Twitter people. We should have done DTR. It was one preseason game, and he ran around. Shut up.
Coach, I'm going to tell you this right now. He will have a 10-year career in the National Football League. He'll at least be Tyrod Taylor. I was high on him. I liked him a lot better than Will Levis.
He'd be Teddy Bridgewater type of guy. I get it.
Right, which that's good then. Teddy's made a nice living.
We talked about college quarterbacks last year on this show, Steve. When we started, when college football was ending, and we both said, I like DTR. But
he's a good developmental remember, he only started 1 year at Gorman because of Tate Martell, who peaked at age 16.
He was a wideout.
Yeah, so DTR, I think his upside's actually ahead of him. I don't think he's peaked as a player. I don't think he's ready to start. And you're right, it's just August. But DTR, to me, fits the modern day. Oh, by the way, when you watch the Whitlock show from yesterday, he nearly echoed what you've been saying for about, 5 years about quarterback play. I almost had a flashback. Like, what show am I on? Wait till you watch it.
It's called osmosis. I'm rubbing off on it. It's the same thing as Kyler Trask in Tampa. He got osmosis. Just as Aaron Rodgers and Brett Favre. It's called osmosis, man.
Hey, by the way, I don't know what you guys are doing Saturday. Make sure you watch ESPN. There's a Mexican war that I'm going to be at. Oscar Valdez against Emmanuel Navarrete. Those two hombres are going to be chucking leather at each other. There'll be no feel-out rounds. It'll be bloody and violent. I cannot wait to be there. It's going to be a fun weekend.
Mexico is bloody and violent right now. There's a lot.
No, it's in Arizona. Then those are good people down there.
No, I'm just saying. It is a Mexican war going on right now. Thanks.
Well, okay. No cartels are involved. Okay.
Thanks for reminding all the Redskins and natives out there. Thanks for reminding all them. I try to tell people all the time, it wasn't the Native Indians and Native Americans that were mad that the Redskins had that name. It was the white liberal lady.
Oh, my God. All right. Hey, guys, I got to go hit a heavy bag, man. I'll talk to you
Appreciate
next
you.
week. Appreciate you guys. See you, Darnell. Have a good weekend.
Yes, sir. You too, Steve. Safe travels.
Steve Kim. Clap it up.
Commercial break, JB. I got to take a piss.
Hey, Ethan, you fucking working today or what?
Ain't no telling what happened.
We got a lot going on today, man. Hey, I got to take
a good ass show.
I know you over there blocked up. You look like you got a shit. You're so scared.
I got to stand up and stretch a little bit. My back tight. I got to move around.
See, it's like the cats complaining to Ron Rivera. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody out there, we got to get to where Smitty can quit what he does on the other jobs and get to this. We got to make a living here doing this. So Smitty can be kicking in the studio, back, lounge, stand up, run around. See, Big Smitty want to run around and be crazy.
No, for real. Like, that's better for me to move around. I'm a high energy guy. Sitting down for 3 hours is tough for me. I like to move, jump, do props.
I would do it too. I might move this back until I get a studio. Move this up here, and you know what I'm saying? Stand up, Big Smitty. Like show you how to how I beat your ass. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like imagine you stand up as an old lineman and I grab the fuck out your chest and pull you and throw you on the ground and rip through.
Like I would show you how I would smack the shit out your arm and rip through your gut and gouge your eye out. I would do all that.
And I would do like a pass rush move and I would show you how I would like strip sack you and like rip your fucking arm down and like break your whole shit. Like those type of things I wish I could be able to do, but we need the money to do that. I just put my clothing brand in there. If everybody could buy one thing right now, we got 600 people here. If 600 people buy one thing, that's helping me move around. Hey, Real Truth, I told you. Real Truth, he loves you, JB. He been talking. Look at Smitty, stop your excuses. Show me your face. I want to know the real truth behind the messages, Real Truth. Change your picture right now. Stop being scared. Stop being soft. Show me your picture, Real Truth.
I want to stand up and stiff arm your ass like I would do in real life. You know what I'm saying?
I wouldn't even move though. Like you would do this and like nothing would happen. Like your arm is so little and brittle. Like I'm a grown ass man.
Did you see when 30 Division I players tried to get me into a lake?
Your players that's your weight room program. Your players weren't that strong. They were talented, but they weren't that strong. Like JB, I would scoop your ass to this day very easily and throw your ass in the water. To this day. And I'm nowhere near as strong as I used to be. Trust me. Trust me.
Never underestimate the heart of a champion.
I will scoop your ass so
Never
quick.
underestimate the heart of a lion.
Man, listen. Only things I have to worry about is Callie and Ash. If they're locked away, I will scoop your ass up quick and throw you in a heartbeat. Easy.
Hey, Christian Morma, just the name makes me want to just throw up. JB, are you ever positive on anything?
For being a gangster.
Hey, Christian Morma, do you know me? Shut the fuck up. God damn, you fucking dick riders. I can't say that. See, I gotta stop saying those things.
You gotta stop saying that, Z. You see, you messing the money up. You messing the money up.
I'm getting better. I'm getting better. Matt already screwed today's show up though, so
I know. Yeah, I already know what he said. Don't. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. I was like, damn, man.
When you put your head down, I already know. Like that show's done today.
No money on that show.
we got. You know what I'm saying? We gotta have these conversations when football season starts. I'm gonna have them with all our guests. Trust me.
I'm gonna make a list of just like the things that we just unfortunately for whatever we just can't say. And we can send that out. Again, everything else stays the same. The energy, the message. It's just different ways to deliver the same message. Even Steve Kim, you saw he was GTHOF and he's
covering his ass and he's doing it to be funny, so no one ever thinks about what he actually said. See?
Exactly. It's what I'm saying. He's a smart dude.
Yeah,
smart.
Not that smart.
He getting that money too. Like 3 night down rule. They getting paper.
I'd be like GTFOFE. I would never get it right, homie. I would screw it up. He's over there, FOHA or whatever. Like shit, I don't know any of that.
He said HOA, homeowners insurance.
Yeah. What's the
fuck out of here? GTHOF. FOMO, fear missing out. FOMO.
Yeah. And what's the other one? YOLO. You only live once. Yeah, I just be saying it all the time, screwing with my folks that say that shit. They'd be like, man, that ain't the right word. I'm like, hey, whatever. YOLO. I don't even know what the shit means.
Oh man.
I do need a swear jar. I'm gonna get a swear jar.
Put $1 in there every time you say something. Not even a quarter, $1.
We're gonna take a break, Big Smitty. We got to talk about this Johnny Manziel thing that I refuse to watch. I know you want to talk about it.
I watched it yesterday. I watched it, JB.
Oh, man, I've been getting blown up by people. I'm like, oh my goodness. Then I talked to people that actually coached them in A&M, buddies of mine, and we're both laughing about the same thing because we know the actual truth. But I don't get it all that either. But we're gonna dive into it a little bit, Smitty, because this is the realest show on the internet. So pound the like button, subscribe, become a member if you're not one, and we'll be back in 5. Peace. Hey, Ethan, pull up. I want to get Matt's opinion on and Smitty. Hey, Matt, I want to get your top 5 Super Bowl contenders.
Oh, I like this.
Oh, sure.
Okay, in no particular order. I'll just
pull mine up, Ethan. Pull mine up. Wake up, Ethan.
Ethan. Number 1 is the Jets? Oh, I like this, coach. This makes him this. I dig this. All right. So in no particular order, I'm going to go Kansas City, the Eagles, the Jets, Kansas City, the Eagles, the Jets, the Lions, and the Niners.
Lions?
Yeah, I think the Lions are going to be fucking good, bro. Like, I think Jared Goff's the perfect quarterback for that place. He's under the radar. He had a great year last year. He doesn't need to be the LA badass and all the eyes on me. That's not really him. And, you know, that guy had a lot of shit talked to him like he couldn't play, and he's the number 1 overall pick who started the Super Bowl. He's far from a chump. I think he's going to be really motivated. I love Dan Campbell. I think they're doing the right thing in Detroit. I think they're going to run away with that division.
I just don't know about the Lions defense if they can get through the gauntlet.
They probably can. I'd imagine that. I think they'll host a playoff game and win one, and then probably run into somebody in the division round or in the championship round that probably puts 40 on them. And that's true.
Man, I got to be all the people in the chat and everybody out there that don't have a fucking clue what I'm talking about. The reason I have the Seahawks in there and the Jets because I have them in the Super Bowl, which I've already stated. So I have to have them in my top 5. You fucks.
And you're not wrong. I mean, look, let's be real here. There's no right or wrong answer here. It's an opinion question, but you're definitely not wrong. Like the Seahawks are really, really fucking good. And Geno Smith is the perfect quarterback for them. They got better when they got rid of Russell Wilson. So, you know, the Jets are fucking loaded.
I try to tell people they think I'm fucking crazy or something. I don't know.
If they stay healthy, Aaron, I work with McGovern and Billy Turner. They're both 2 of my guys that I've been working with forever. McGovern's the starting center. Billy Turner is rotating at guard and tackle, and he's one of their swing guys. He'll probably start a bunch of games for them. I was talking to them last night, and they are like, it is night and day change. Robert Saleh is just sitting there fucking like literally like counting his guys like, oh my God, I got another one. There's pass rushers falling out of the ceiling. Quinnen Williams is the best 3 technique in football. Yes, that's what I said. Better than Aaron Donald. Quinnen Williams is better than Aaron Donald right now.
Chris Jones?
And yeah, way better than Chris Jones. Chris Jones don't play the run. Chris Jones is a pass rusher. Chris Jones ain't playing no run game. I respect Aaron Donald because he plays the run too. Like if you're a 3 technique and you can't play first and second down, then you don't deserve to rush the passer on 3rd down. That's just my opinion. And I think
here's Big Smitty's, Big Matt. Here's Big Smitty's Super Bowl contenders.
I like this too. Other than all these Charger picks, why the Chargers, guys?
I got to pick them eventually. I think their roster's loaded.
I'm a big Justin Herbert fan, man. I get they ain't won a playoff game yet. I get it, but I think this is going to be the year.
Guys, they're the Chargers. Like,
it's like the Clippers,
you can talk about all this shit all you want, and like they got Mack and Bosa, and they got fucking Darwin. They got
Derwin James. They got Eric Kendricks now.
And then you have to remember they're the fucking Chargers, and they're immediately going to shit on themselves.
Hey, Matt, if Frisco don't make it, Big Smitty's going to have the Bengals play the Chiefs in the Super Bowl.
No, the point of why I made this is the AFC.
Wait for Smitty because Smitty takes a long time. Young cats don't even know. They don't even know about 3 days or 2 a day. And I couldn't imagine not having 3 days. I didn't want to live life to this day and not be able to tell my stories about 3 a days. I want to ask Smitty, how do you live life not being able to tell your kids that you went through 3 a days? Just telling you. Smitty, you're a troll. Shut up. Become a member, motherfucker. I'm going to start blocking your ass. You're a troll. Drop your resume. Let me see your resume, Smitty, so I can see if you're worth talking to any longer and any further in this discussion about Jalen Hurts, your hero. Drop your resume. Let me see your resume real quick. I'll wait. Like y'all say, I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait for your resume. I love you cats that work at Walmart that know more than me. Fucking crazy. I can't wait. Hey, everybody, we're waiting on Smitty's resume. Smitty that's in the chat, we're waiting on his resume. Not our big Smitty. We're waiting on Smitty's resume that he knows so goddamn much. Hey, Smitty, I gotta ask you something. Don't you feel a little certain type of way that you're gonna live life and never be able to talk to your kids about going through 3-a-days? I couldn't imagine not being able to tell my kid about 3-a-days, Big Smitty.
That sounds nuts to me. Like, I didn't even know that was a realistic thing. Like, I've heard rumors of it before, but I didn't know it was such a common thing in your era. Like,
not that old.
You are that old, Jeff. You're old as hell. Like, 2-a-days is regular. 2-a-days is you wake up early, knock it out, go shower, might come back in, watch film. You might have a lift, and then we might scrimmage at the end or do a whole nother practice at the end. That's a great day of work. 3-a-days is like your body is fucked. That's why you see a lot of these old players all messed up in the head and their body all messed. They walked around bent over. You guys wanted to act so hard and tough, and I get it, but was it worth it in the end? I don't know. To each his own. 2-a-days to me was the perfect mix of hard work, discipline, toughness, but I'm still making sure that I leave this sport healthy. 3-a-days is OD. It's way too much. We're going overboard. But now we overcorrected it. Now guys only practicing one time. So now it's even worse. So don't you hate when you get a call and say no caller ID? I'm not answering it. If you calling me private, I'm not answering the phone. You know what I mean? I don't know who you are.
No, I know you can have your phone on regular volume during Fox. You know what I'm saying? See, he already know. They say he disrespected the old man. See what I'm saying?
It's happened before. Ask Marcellus. Marcellus' phone went out multiple times at Fox.
The young cat's got no respect. My point again. I won again. The debate is over for the day. I won again.
I've seen JB take calls in our show, and y'all seen it. He might press mute, but he in the middle of a phone call while I'm holding it down, putting the show on my back as a young 29-year-old, carrying this show from point A to point D while he's on the phone taking phone calls, ordering food.
Hey, I got a daily rant, but speaking of that, I'm not going to put you on blast. Of course, I would never do that. But I got to, you don't have to answer this either, but I got a daily rant later on about Colin Cowherd, colleague of yours. Here's the issue I have. I'm on this is going to be a very, very different rant today. And I think a lot of people are going to be shocked in the way that I go with it. But damn, dog, can I have a daily rant, Big Smitty, about this and take this and twist this around for me? People sit at home on their phones and they live in the basement of their mom's house. They work at a miserable job that they don't want. And people like Colin Cowherd who have a career and actually love their career. People that sit in the basements that weigh 600 pounds wait for the Colin Cowherds of the world to fuck up and have one mistake in their life so you can see and wish upon their demise. Like these cats bottom feed so they can wreck someone's life because someone made a mistake, regardless of whose fault it was or what have you. Dog, people didn't wake up and say, I'm going to say certain names that I know aren't even here no more because I'm an asshole. Like, dog, it blows my mind that people really are out there blasting this dude for something that was clearly a mistake. And oh my goodness. Smitty, I don't even want you to comment because this is people don't understand the situation. But this happens to me every day. This happens to people out there that we all have seen and known, like big time A-list celebrities. They can't do what people do in real life. Make mistakes. You make mistakes every day, you 600-pound life fuck. But no one cares about you, and no one watches you every day. Like, it's much easier to clown Ice Cube than it is Mac Miller. Does that make sense? This guy has movies, shows. Like, there's so much more content out there that you can clown somebody when you see more of somebody, correct?
Yeah, the more you put out there, the more you have to criticize. Yeah.
If I don't see you enough, there's really not much. Like, it's easy for you to clown me, and I can't clown you, dog. Nobody knows you. Like, I'm so tired of cats taking narratives and just trying to wish upon the demise of somebody when you're absolutely a nobody. Nobody cares about you. You're a fat slob. You're like, these are the people that we're talking about. And Big Smitty, why this is playing? This guy has, I think, 4 million followers, and he's trending, and all the followers watch this dude, and like, this is what cats aspire to be right now. That's the guy that is wishing upon our demise, Big Smitty, for us to screw up one time. That's Chick-fil-A, by the way. That's what you eat.
I don't mix it and blend it together and drink it like that, Jamie.
He put ranch in that motherfucker.
I can't even really watch that. That's kind of nasty right there. But nah, man, I feel like all the people who are doing stupid shit are winning. And you know what I mean? When it comes to just whether it's followers, whether it's getting brands, whether it's making money through your social media, people, the crazier you can do something, the more quote unquote successful or financial gain you can get based upon your following on social media. And it's crazy, man. I would never cross certain lines just to get $1.
You know what's crazy though? Like, people are castrating your colleague, and then I see people in mainstream media anointing Ron Rivera. Hold on, dog. Yeah. One of these motherfuckers just absolutely destroyed someone's career. Someone else made a mistake. See, it's a trip how perception is reality, bro. And it's like,
and I'll say this too, like, obviously I can't comment on too much, but Colin's a great dude. And I will say this: when you're working in TV, there's a lot of hands that are involved in what you guys see as fans. I'm gonna just leave it at that. Colin's a hell of a dude.
I'll leave it at this because I've said it on my rant. My rant's gonna air today at 4:00. If I'm handed a piece of paper and I'm reading fast because I have to get it out under a certain time and I know how this thing works, and I'm sitting there like, oh, blah, 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 blah. I'm just reading off what was handed to me. Dog, no one just realizes that. You just think this dude just said shit out of nowhere. Like, it's crazy, dog. It just happens that way every single day. I'm seeing shit like that. I can't wait. My rant airs at 4:00. Make sure you check it out today. It's going to be fire. All right, Johnny Manziel, Big City.
Yeah, man. So I watched the documentary last night. I watched it before I watched Hard Knocks. So I watched live TV.
Let me scratch my head harder.
I'll say this. First of all, it was a solid documentary. It wasn't like amazing, but it was a solid documentary and kind of reliving the whole Johnny football. I almost forgot how big he was at A&M and how fast everything happened. And man, it was interesting just to see how fast things turned after he won that Heisman, and how winning that Heisman truly, I don't know if I want to say changed him, but almost just brought out more of who he already was. And he was already partying that year. He was already going out doing stuff, but the limelight wasn't on him. Once he won that Heisman and he was making money from signing autographs and doing all this, and it's like his ego got like times 100. And he stopped giving a fuck, and he just started clowning and wilding out. And it was just really interesting to just dive into what he was doing and the benders he would have the day before games, and some of the bad decisions that he's constantly continued to make. Even goes to NFL, you know, he talks about his times with the Browns and how he just wasn't happy and he stopped loving football, and how subconsciously he was just purposely making dumb decisions to get himself removed from the sport. You know, at the time, he said that he didn't know that, you know, consciously that's what he was doing. But looking back, he was purposely doing stuff to get removed because he no longer loved the game anymore. And it was just interesting to dive into like the whole mindset, of Johnny football. I saw that, and I don't know if it's true or not. They claim that they made up a whole lie about him coming from oil money and his parents having money. Supposedly, his family, based upon what he's saying, doesn't come from like shit ton of money. They use that lie as a cover up during his college years, because he was going through that whole case as far as, getting paid for his autographs, and then seeing Johnny catch these PJs and all this jewelry on. So his best friend, who became like his manager basically in college, came up with this lie, this front, to say, well, the reason he has all this because his family comes from money, oil money, boom, boom, boom. And all the media platforms ran with it. And until yesterday, I thought it was true. I always thought Manziel's family came from money, but I guess evidently that's not the truth. So I don't know. It was really interesting. I would suggest you guys, football fans, to watch it. I do think it's a pretty good documentary. But JB, I know you didn't watch it, but explain to me a little bit why you refuse to watch it. I think that's a better question for you.
Because I know the truth.
The truth about what?
The lies. I know the truth about the lies that you just told me. So I don't know.
He's showcasing a lot, though. In the documentary, it's not like he's just showing all the good stuff. Like, he's admitting, like, before the combine, I got fucking wasted a week before, and I had to pass my drug test, so I had to try to chug down gallons of water just to make it there. And like, he's admitting a lot of this.
Why are we? The number one reason he's got a platform in a show is because of why?
Because he in college football, at least on my era, he's one of the best players during that 2-year stint. In my era, I'm not saying all time, but he's a Heisman winner. Like,
that was 10 years ago, though. I'm talking about right now. Why would you make a documentary about him? It's not because of that.
It's a combination of that and then what he became. He's one of the biggest. You could argue he's one of the biggest busts in NFL history. Technically, you could argue that he's a first rounder who was a Heisman who shit the bed and ruined his entire career because of personal dumb decisions.
I don't agree. I agree they're making a show of him because he's pushed the mental health narrative, and that is what everybody will give you a show for right now. If you have a name, of any type of name at all, and you were somebody who he was a Heisman Trophy winner. He was the first guy to get in the combine with pads on, and he did this innovative workout and all this stuff. Now claim mental health as your new crutch as to why. So here's the truth of the matter is, all right. From what I understand is his daddy cut him off. His daddy is very rich, by the way. I know for a fact there was a private jet involved. I don't know any broke motherfucker to just call up dad and get a private jet and you're not rich. Like, I know for a fact that he had private jet access all the time while he was at A&M. My good friends were coached him.
Well, they claim he got that due to his own money and network that he got from being a baller at A&M.
So you're telling me this whole thing was set up. So when my buddies coached and recruited him and had to do home visits at multiple mansions of his, those were all fake. I'm just saying when you go to one city and let's say in Florida and visit him at a home that's a mansion, then you go to another city and visit him in another mansion, and then you go to a Mexico resort that's yours and you visit them and recruit them there. Those are all setups. That's a hell of an elaborate setup, homie. I'm just saying. Like, I've had his coach on my show before. I'm just saying there's like an elaborate setup. That's a hell of a setup. But it makes sense now that you say it when you come out to make the documentary catch everyone's eyes because you use mental health and a made up, my dad's not really a rich person. Yeah, of course, it makes a hell of a documentary. I think Netflix did that to somebody I know. They kind of massaged some shit around. But I'm just saying, it's crazy that that they're using that narrative when everyone that coached them or been around them or players that played with them will tell you the complete opposite, and that's a lie. And then, you know, how much money do you think he made in the NFL? Because he didn't make life-changing money.
No, maybe a couple mil. He wasn't even there long enough. But maybe
I don't know anything he's done other than a couple commercials for Heisman that would have made him big-time money. But I know where he lives. He's a neighbor of a good friend.
He's in Arizona. They showed his house in Arizona too.
Yeah, he's a good friend of mine. He's a good friend of mine's neighbor. That house isn't $1 million or $2 million or $3 million. That house is way up there. Like, I don't believe it's all from him either. But I heard he's been cut off because of his life choices and decisions. And Pop finally had enough. And that's the rumor that I've heard. And again, it's a rumor. We'll go with that. And I've heard that. And now I heard, okay, I got to shit or get off the pot here while I'm in Scottsdale. And I got to figure this out. And let's go mental health. I think mental health would be the way I go. I don't know, man. I know a lot of people that have coached him and recruited him. And there's not a lot of good things I've heard. So that's just what it is.
One thing that I noticed as well, man, because they had like Cliff Kingsbury in the documentary talking, which I actually forgot that Cliff Kingsbury was the OC there.
Yeah,
it's crazy how many quarterbacks that he's coached. But one thing that I noticed, and he kind of admitted it straight up, is that they knew a lot of the shit that Manziel was doing. They knew he would be drunk the day before the game, but they kind of just let it happen because it's like, listen, as long as he plays well, they were allowing it to happen.
He said who before the day of the game?
I said no. I was saying like they knew Manziel would be drunk or high, like literally the day before the game, and they would say, "Hey, get your shit together." As long as you play well, we're not gonna trip because they admitted. They said Johnny Manziel helped everybody make more money. Everybody, you know what I'm saying? Like Cliff Kingsbury got the Texas Tech job. Obviously A&M just as a school was selling way more tickets. They're making more money. The head coach, what's his name? The brother. He got a crazy
something. A good friend of mine.
Yeah, he got a good contract.
You got it by yourself. 1 second.
Yes, sir. I got it. I got you. See, I told y'all, man. I be carrying the show on my shoulders, man, on my back. JB, he talk all that talk, but then he got to leave out. You know what I'm saying? I got to carry the show on my shoulder, on my back. How y'all doing, Chay? I know I like to talk to y'all whenever it's just me and you. How y'all doing? Brian Case. I see True Pac in here. Nathan Nees, Alice and Tuck Wob. D Jones, my guy. How's everybody doing on this lovely Wednesday? It's hump day. It's hump day. I got one more day at Fox this week. You know, today, obviously, but we got tomorrow. We got Friday off. So I'm just trying to get to Friday, y'all. You know what I mean? You get to Friday, it's a good feeling when you know all you got is the JB show and you can take care of everything else that you need to take care of. Got him, coach. I'm doing good, got him. Jada Benz is in the building. Jada, how you doing, sister? Can't believe we didn't get a chance to meet. I'm sure I'll meet you down the road. Yes. Taylor Blake was good, Blake. Brian Case was good, my guy. So, but yeah, talking a little bit more about this documentary. Again, I suggest you guys watch it. I think, overall, I'll give it like a 7 out of 10, 6 out of 10. It's not incredible, but it just gives you some good insight on some of the things that Johnny Manziel was putting himself through. Let me make sure I say that clearly. Putting himself through. I don't think it's some stuff that, conditions or, mental health to me is something when you have a literal issue, that maybe you're born with or something traumatic happened when you were young and it led to you being this way. Johnny Manziel was making poor decisions because that's what he wanted to do. He wanted to live life to the fullest. He wanted to party every single game. I think he had a saying in college. It said, win or lose, we booze. Meaning that win or lose, we about to turn up. We about to get beers, liquor. We about to turn this thing up regardless. So it's just crazy seeing somebody who was on such a mountain. He was at such a high at A&M. Johnny Football, one of the biggest names in college football history, beat Alabama as a freshman. First freshman ever to win a Heisman. To do all that, to go first round, and then to just lay an egg, to shit the bed. The man didn't watch any film at all. Literally, in NFL, they have the iPads where the coaches can track how many hours you've had it on, and it would say 0.0. Literally didn't put any effort, and he had so many people around him, his parents, his dad. They got him into rehab, and he broke out. His agent was he had so many people in his circle trying to help him be great, and he just kept making decisions. I'm not even calling it a mistake because at some point it's not a mistake. You're deciding this to do these actions, and this is what you want to do. So looks like Ethan had a clip. Feel free to show that if you want to. I'm not for sure what it is, but feel free to show that.
He doesn't watch tape. I'm like, well, he's got to watch some tape. It's like, EB, his iPad hours is 0.00.
0.
It's like, that's a quick clip from that moment, but it's like, at some point, it's like, bro.
I'm sure that 0 that he just gave up at the very end, I bet you that wasn't even talking about the actual thing they were talking about, huh?
No, it was. And that's just, I think it was. You never know when they edit, but I think it was. In that moment, they were talking about him not watching any film. In the NFL, they have the iPads where coaches can track how many hours you've consumed the film. And that was his agent at first saying that it said 0.00 on the tape. So it's just crazy that someone can have so much. Heisman, first round, a family of parents that actually support you, an agent who has your back. You have everything you could possibly want and need, and still like fuck up, choose to be miserable. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I don't know. I don't get it. Being someone who came from without and really had to get out the mud to just get to this point that I'm at right now. That's all that's the goal. That's the American dream.
Man, I got a good friend that recruited him real heavy. David Beatty's a hell of a buddy, a friend of mine, great football coach. He was the head coach at Kansas University, got fired a little bit. Then he went back to Texas, helped Sark for a minute, went back to A&M for a minute. He listen, I know too much. I'm just telling you like that. I know too much, and it's crazy that they're doing a show that everybody's going to give them pity for now. I'm going to do a show. I want a show for pity.
Make it happen. You could do a show. How you got blackballed?
Hey, we're doing it. We're doing it a little bit, but not like that. But we need to do that show, a real movie.
You need like a full actual documentary.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, get on. I mean, you probably. I mean, I know Netflix messed you up, but you might be able to talk to them and get on that show because like that's an actual.
Yeah.
I think it's called Untold Stories, and it's just a different documentaries all underneath that same umbrella. So it could be a. But the thing is, Netflix won't put you on there because you're gonna talk shit about Netflix. So you have to go somewhere else.
If Johnny Manziel was, let's say, black, I'll be honest. But I've seen so many of these, homie. Like I've raised these kids. I've been around these types of the situations where I don't see any of the kids I've coached that have way worse situations ever get reached out to about a job, about a fucking show, and then tell their story after they busted in the NFL.
I ain't seen no Jamarcus Russell documentary. It might be out, but I haven't seen it.
I don't see any of it. It's not a black and white thing, but it's it's a person, it's actual person that plays. Like Ryan Leaf, they did a thing on him.
Right.
They did a little thing on Ryan Leaf. But Ryan Leaf had drug issues, very similar situation, mental health.
They need something that they can sell to the masses.
Miss me with that shit. So if you don't claim mental health and aren't a druggie, you can't get a show.
It has to be something that they feel like is appealing to the masses and stuff like that right now is what it is.
You can't get it. You don't fuck up and absolutely ruin your life with drugs. And you don't come from money, like, and screw up. Now you claim mental health. Like, I can't wait to see the Delonte West documentary. Oh, wait.
He ain't getting that. So, man, you spin that real.
A little early. I don't know if you want to end it or we just end it. But, Ethan, if you can run it from the go, I got a big-ass one of those big containers out here that they're going to have to gut my house and put it all in this container. And I got to see if I can fit it on the side of my house because I'll be damned if I just leave all my shit in the container in the front of my house. So
you might get robbed. Yeah, you might get robbed out here.
I got all kind of shit going on, Big Smitty. It's crazy right now, but we still giving you a damn near 3 hours a day, man, because we're the realest show on the internet. So
let's go ahead and end it, man. My wife just walked in. I think she got some candy.
You that Chick-fil-A, you know what I'm saying? You need to rub them feet, hot sauce.
Hold on. Hand me the bag, baby. Hand me the bag.
That's crazy.
Hand me the bag real quick, baby. Hand me the bag real quick. Because the fans be getting on me every time you walk in with this. Get you a wife, man. Get you a queen. My woman takes great care of me. That's my baby. I die for her. Chick-fil-A right here, y'all. We need a sponsor. We need a sponsor.
Hold on. I got some breaking news. I got breaking news. Hey, she's smart. She stayed out the camera, dog.
Yeah,
everybody was like, "Who's she look like? What she look like?" You hear the breaking news sound?
I heard it. What's going on?
In 10 years, breaking news, Smitty is now this guy. Look at all the Chick-fil-A, homie. Oh, Oh my God, that's 10 years from now. Big
You
Smitty.
know what's funny? I don't mind the handle. That's kind of smart, but the blender, that's the disgust. Use the handle. That's cool.
Take it from me. I'm just saying. Hey, man, much love to everybody in the chat. Hit that like button on your way out the door. I got to get out of here, Big Smitty. We'll see you back tomorrow morning, 4 o'clock daily rant today. Don't miss it. And Smitty and I will be back in the morning. Thirsty Thursday, dog. We got a big lineup for you tomorrow. We might have a few special guests on. And we're going to break down some more ball as we get into some more college and NFL preseason football starts, Big Smitty. We're going to start breaking down those teams tomorrow. So don't miss it. I'll see you guys on the other side. Much love. Peace.
Peace.